And we're back.
I Don't Drink Coffee podcast. Ben Klein here. Lucas Johnson, my awesome co-host. Kind of awesome.
Appreciate it. Sort of.
He's not your favorite. He's not your favorite co-host, though. I am.
Oh.
That's what they all tell me.
Oh, okay.
They say Lucas is not my favorite. You are, Benny.
It's kind of like having a favorite kid, though. I don't think you're supposed to do that, but
Right.
okay.
Right. No one's ever told me that. I'm just joking. We are here with Danna Malone and Monica Green, and we are
788.
788. And Danna, you're from
Tulsa,
and
Oklahoma City.
you're from Oklahoma City, but originally you're from
California.
Stockton,
California, the ghetto.
Well,
the
if we're
ghetto
going to talk
California.
original,
Yeah, originally. Where are you from originally?
I was born in Indiana. That's where
Okay.
that accent comes from. And I was raised in Virginia. That's where that accent
Oh,
comes
wow.
from. So
Okay.
I combine them, and this is what you get.
All
So you
right.
got a tri accent,
There you go.
tri-state accent.
You guys make me feel because I was born in Tallahena, down here, and raised basically here. So
I was
mean,
born there and raised there.
Yeah, I didn't get very far, but we're here anyway. So,
You didn't miss much.
well, I've been told both, So, but no, I'd like to jump right into first
Yep.
of all,
For
like
sure.
the We Are 788. Can you guys kind of give us a little bit of background on maybe what got you guys started and wanting to do that?
Well, back in December, I was at a meeting and regarding State Question 806 and State Question 807, which was written by the ACLU to bring recreational in and destroy our medical marijuana program. And at this meeting, someone asked if there were any volunteers to take and write documents to
Make a better bill.
make a better bill to fight State Question 806 and 807. And I volunteered because I am a paralegal and I'm a mom, a grandmother, a great-grandmother, and a fixer.
Sure.
I'm like, I know that I'll get it done. And so
Definitely a woman of action.
Right.
I assembled a large group of people. I called on Monica. I called on some other friends that are in the industry. We are business owners. Reached out to patients, activists, people online, and started working on what we call State Question 813. While we're doing that, we're like, well, why isn't anybody fixing the problems with people still going to jail? Being a paralegal, I'm still getting phone calls that, I'm a patient and I got arrested because
People need representation,
Yeah.
representation for small amounts of marijuana.
they were still getting arrested, still getting tickets. Now, some of them didn't have their medical marijuana cards, some of them did. So with that being said, I'm like, well, then we need to fix this problem, because if I have a card, I shouldn't be getting a ticket, I shouldn't be getting arrested, I shouldn't be having to deal with law enforcement officers because I'm a patient. And so I'm hearing from people that they don't want to be a patient for whatever reason, but they still use marijuana. But they're still going to jail, and they're going to jail for long periods of time. I've dealt with or am working with a woman, her and her husband in this area are facing life in prison in Oklahoma for less than 21 grams of marijuana between the two of them.
Which is less than an ounce of weed.
Really?
And they were convinced to take and plead guilty and take a deferred, and they've got all these huge fines, and they didn't have really great representation. And this happened 2 months before 788 passed. So they got arrested. The charges were just 2 months before. So this is really concerning to me. This should have been already dealt with. So they took the plea. Now they're behind on the fines. They have to keep going into court, and every month, and sometimes more, because the courts will call them and say, hey, you need to come in here. And they tell them constantly, we can accelerate this at any time. The acceleration of that means that they're behind on what they're required to do, and the courts can accelerate, and they have to go to prison the original sentence, they have to go to prison.
So they're using that as a way to like strong arm these people into paying their fines or
I
something
think
like
so.
that?
I think
Wow.
so. And, I get, but, we're under COVID.
Sure.
Let's be clear. This whole year has been crap.
Right.
People are broke,
People are
unemployed.
struggling to
They're
pay
struggling
their
just to
rent
exactly.
and buy food for their family, let alone fines is going
But
to be the last
for a
thing that they're-
court to constantly badger somebody, I get they need to take and do what they need to do. That you need to follow the rules. But if there are extenuating circumstances, and the fact that with State Question 812, if we can get this, get the signatures, when we get the signatures, whether it's this go around or the next go around, when we get the signatures and we get this on the ballot, this will go away for them.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
and thousands of other people that are just like them.
We've got African American groups, young men that are sitting in jail, in prison. I hear about them all day long. People come into my dispensary all day long. Yeah, so-and-so's in jail doing X amount of time. He really, really needs this. Or I get somebody comes in and says, yeah, I just got out of prison for, a couple grams of marijuana. I did, X amount of time, but I can't get housing. I can't get assistance. I'm homeless.
Because they have a felony on their record or a misdemeanor
Yeah,
on
Or
their record.
just a controlled
Controlled
substance
on their record.
on their record. You can't get, okay, they've gotten out of prison. They've done their time. They can't get financial aid to go to school to better themselves. So the cycle just keeps continuing. They can't get a decent job, so they can't pay their fines. They can't see their probation officer because you have to pay for probation. You have to pay for all of those people's time.
Sure.
And so it's just, they keep digging and digging it. So they go back to doing what they know. You
Right.
know? And then they get popped again. And it just keeps going and going. Then you've got the people that are so poverty stricken that have gotten just a little joint, they did time, they got it popped, but the court system charges you so much. I've got a son that he had a little bit of a joint. He got lost at OU Medical Center, and their little police officer stopped him, and he forgot it was in his ashtray. He said, "Go ahead and you can search the car." Why a medical facilities officer security is checking, doing what's it called?
A search.
A search of a car is beyond me.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
seems
it's like,
a
why
little
were
bit
they even
odd.
searching them in the first place?
But they arrested him.
And this is your son.
My son. And he has spent thousands and thousands of dollars. He had to stay in jail.
Now, was this since 788?
No, this was before 788.
Okay.
But
Times have changed and
He
the laws
can't
need
get-
to change to keep up with them.
absolutely,
Right.
he can't get a decent job because that's on there. He's not able to afford an expungement. He's not able to afford to get the things. And I could probably get it done for him, but he needs to stand on his own. But I'm helping him, supporting him in other ways.
Well, I think the point she's trying to make too is that 812, when it passes, the state will pay for expungement of records.
Yes.
Meaning now people that are, in hardship cases don't have to come up with $4,000 to find a lawyer to pay for the expungement because then it'd just be a catch-22, right?
Correct.
It's like it's there, but I can't afford to expunge it. So this is a win for the patient or the people as well because they don't have to come out of pocket. The state will take care of it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the best part to me is that the state has to take care of that because you're already paid all these fines. Now, we didn't address that they get all those fines back. Let's just move forward. But this also expunges people that I do expungement clinics with a particular attorney in Tulsa. She does one annually. It's a free expungement clinic in Tulsa. And I've had 80-something-year-old men, Native American men, 2 of them come up to me crying that they finally got a marijuana charge off their record from when they were younger, and their great-grandchildren will never see that on their record.
It's just
I mean,
time to break the
crying.
stigma too.
Sure,
I
sure.
mean, it's not going away. It's here to stay.
That's definitely a huge thing, and I agree with you. You know, it kind of along the lines of what you're talking about. When I was really young, I was 21. I got a DUI one time. Now, I was driving whenever when I was arrested for it. I was guilty. Never made any bones about it or anything like that. But I could. The point I'm trying to make is through the process of doing that. Now I had a year of it, and it was expunged after a year. It was my first.
But
I
you
had
were
never
able
been in
to
trouble.
complete all the requirements.
Right. And that's the point I was going to make was I could see how it would be really easy to get caught in that cycle because it costs a lot of money. Now, if I hadn't had like my family, my mom and dad were a good support system. They didn't give me any money, but I was living at home at the time, and so I was able to. I wasn't paying rent or anything like
money,
that.
yeah.
So I was working and stuff, but that way I was able to do that. Well, not everybody has that.
Right.
system.
It's a hardship.
Absolutely.
And so on that side, I can see where this is definitely there's a need for that. You know, I mean, there's plenty of people out there that would need that.
Absolutely. And we're getting a lot of great support, but we're also getting a lot of kickback
Sure.
from people for various reasons. I'm not saying whether they're good or bad reasons. They're their reasons.
No, what they're doing is they're hearing somebody else talking instead of doing their own investigation and research and reading it themselves. It's a page and a half long. Can I say dumbasses?
You can say whatever you want to.
It's a page and a half long, dumbasses. Just read it instead of listening to what some bonehead has to say about it and make your own decision.
And that's
Sure.
what's going on is
Sorry, I
you've
shouldn't
got
cuss.
one loud,
Oh, you're good.
you've
No,
got a handful of loud people out there that people
for their own personal reasons don't want it to go through because it doesn't meet their personal agenda.
Well, what kind of kickback are you getting? Like, what's the?
What are we getting?
Yeah.
We're getting nothing.
Oh, you mean like as far as the
Oh,
the-
you're
the-
talking about pushback.
Pushback, yeah. Sorry.
from the
Just-
who
I'm
do
gonna
you
let
think
you-
who
I'm
do
gonna-
you think you are to I'm gonna fight them all.
There's a handful of people that
We call them the dirty dozen that always has something negative to say. But unfortunately, they have followers because, people that, are like that, people, even though they don't necessarily agree with them, they like to see them and watch them gripe. So they're the ones griping.
and they're being fed information by this group of people. They're being fed misinformation.
And they haven't even read it.
They won't read it, but they make up something that fits their agenda to the reason to hate it.
I should have read this before we started this.
Yeah, and then other people believe them. And it's like they haven't even read it. Now, this one lady, I won't say her name, but
You can, but you don't have to.
I'll start another war, and I'm not ready to fight right now. But,
Save it for the can of grudge.
I'll save it for the can of grudge, which we'll talk about that later. She was talking
Well,
about
don't
it. and
save
she-
anything
and
good
she
for
makes-
another
she makes
podcast.
She makes
No,
an ad.
for
No,
later
it's
in the
a fight.
conversation.
I'll tell you that later in the conversation.
Okay.
She was, on Facebook crying about it, and all the senators are never going to go for this. And it's like, hey, dumbass, you don't even know the difference between an amendment and a bill. This is an amendment to the Constitution. This means that it takes the politics out of it. This means that the politicians can't come in and change it anytime they want to. It has to be an amendment means it has to go to the vote of the people. If something's not liked on there, they can't just say, oh, we're going to have a session. And, hey, you give me this, we'll change it. Blah blah blah. It
Right.
doesn't work like that. You
And
have
that's
to bring
how
it to the people.
788 got destroyed by
It's
our
because it was a
legislature
bill
because
and
it was
not
a
an amendment.
bill, and the legislature could just go in there and do whatever they wanted.
What all did they do?
They
to
destroyed
destroy
it.
Oh my gosh, they've destroyed. Where do we start? Okay, so now dispensaries have to have a mop sink,
Oh God,
Yeah.
that's a nightmare.
right? We have to have
random thing.
health department permits.
We use the
agriculture
Swiffer
permits.
moppers,
Right.
But
So
we,
you're both dispensary owners. We didn't
Yes.
establish
Yes.
that.
Yes.
I
You're a
own
paralegal.
yield. I'm a paralegal by day, and I'm a dispensary owner at all times outside of that. I own Yield Apothecary Shop in Tulsa.
the Greens Bakery in Oklahoma
Monica
City.
Green owns the Greens Bakery and
Processing.
processing, and
But they've changed it like city compliance. And the thing about it is the rules aren't equal throughout the state. So for instance, I have to get a city compliance for my dispensary in Oklahoma City. Well, I've had to have electricians. I had to pull a permit for an electrician to come out to sign off that we can't use extension cords for our TV. Redonkulous, right? Just all this crazy stuff, taking months and months and months to get that piece of paperwork. But yet in Del City, where I have my processing, I said I need my city compliance. Oh, give us $600. Here you go. Boom. Here's your paperwork.
Sure.
So it needs to be uniform across the state. Everybody, every county, every state, every municipality needs to be on the same page and held accountable to keep the rules the same. Because right now, different counties in different areas of the state are changing the rules to what they please. And we need it to be.
And our legislature has overregulated us to the point that we can't make any money, because we're constantly dealing with change, and we can't pay attention to our business because we're paying attention to the regulations because they change
Often.
almost weekly.
Did you get the new
Yeah.
rules yesterday or the day
Yeah, we got
before?
new ones this week.
We got more new rules this week.
So-
Yeah, it's just constantly changing. So if we have an amendment, it's set in stone, and a lot of people don't like it that it can't be changed because it is set in stone. But it's the lesser of two evils. You know what I mean?
Rules
And-
can be added to by OMMA, but as far as the actual actions, those would be written in stone.
And you guys are up against it. I was reading some stuff about this actually this morning, and you're up against a thing like you're talking about the stigma of it. The part that's weird to me, I guess you'd say in our modern age or whatever you want to say, even whenever they attach rioters to bills and things like that to help you guys with your industry and that kind of thing like that, a lot of that stuff gets voted down. And one of the reasons that was in this piece that I was reading was that there's no consequence because it's not a polarizing issue. As a lot of people don't view it as, it's not worth like these people that vote against this industry, they don't get voted out because of it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. We got some shadiness going and some unethical stuff going on up at our state capitol.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Are you
especially especially where medical marijuana is concerned. I could tell you, but I have to keep it quiet right now.
Sure.
But there's some real shadiness going on, and actually probably illegalities.
Oh, that sounds like politics to me.
Yeah,
you know
right?
what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't get me started on politics.
That's
you
right.
know what I'm saying?
Are you shocked?
Exactly. Unfortunately, I'm not a political person. I don't want to be a public person, public figure. But this is important enough to me and to people I care about, meaning I have almost 8,000 patients in my database. Monica, she cares about her patients. She cares about her vendors. I care about my vendors. And this is not just about our patients. It's about all of Oklahoma, because everybody is affected by someone that has been arrested, put in jail for
Everyone
marijuana.
knows someone.
Everybody knows someone. And so, I mean,
they were busted. The ones that are facing jail with 21 grams, which in today's standards, that's if they have
That's
their
a
medical
ticket.
card. That's not even a ticket if you have your medical
Right.
card, and that's like.
And they now
2/3
have
below
their
what
medical
the legal
cards.
amount is to carry.
They just
Because-
didn't have their medical card at the time.
well, we
Well, it
weren't
was- it
legal
wasn't
at that
legal then.
time. We
But that's-
voted it in 2 months later.
oh yeah,
But that's
right.
what we're saying. The times have changed. The laws need to change to catch up to the
Sure.
times.
And our legislature should have already dealt with this.
Right.
Yeah.
This should have been dealt with the
Yeah.
first year. The so-called industry leaders
Wannabes.
should have already dealt with this, because they were the ones supposedly helping write the legislation that our so-called legislatures wrote. They nominated themselves and made themselves industry leaders. But let me tell you, they're
Sure.
not leading this industry.
Sure.
No,
So,
they just have a bunch of cronies that follow.
I
them and
personally
believe
want to
everything
call.
they
I
say.
personally like to call it a program, the medical marijuana program.
It is a program.
I don't like the word industry, but that's just me. I'm old.
Well, to me, and like I said, we talked about it before the podcast started. I've always lived here, and the economy of Oklahoma is very much based on, well, up until recently, the oil and gas industry, or let's say the farm and ranch industry. Really, those are to me the bigger things in this state. So I've always been looking forward to, because in my lifetime, I've also worked in the oil field my entire working life, and I see it starting to decline over all these years that I've, whether it be battery powered cars, a lot of things I've talked about on here before, things that are coming that are not making that industry antiquated. Well, slowly making it antiquated, but in this state we depend on it.
Absolutely.
And so it's a lot of ups and downs for our state specifically. Like I said, I can't speak for other states, but for this one, and I was excited to see another form of industry start here.
Well, I can tell you, because I work cannabis law. That's what I do.
Sure.
The attorney I work for is a cannabis attorney, and I get calls, at least 10 calls a day, from people getting out of the oil industry because they want to grow. They just like I've lost everything. I've lost my job.
It's a volatile industry, the oil and
Definitely.
gas.
yeah, and it's always up or down, but it also depends on the government, whatever the government's doing.
Sure.
So and it whether it be state or federal government can control that. So
I know a couple of guys personally that are kind of in the same boat, where this, even though it seems regulated to pieces, it's a more stable setup than the oil and gas industry. So that, like you said, you get left kind of high and dry enough times. I know I have been myself. I've sold off everything I've owned before because of a downturn.
Feast or famine.
Yeah. So, and especially like with COVID going on, I was lucky enough that I've worked through it because the part that I do is kind of essential. I mean, we're processing gas that goes to a power plant. So on that end of it, I was able to kind of keep working through it. But plenty of guys, since all the drilling slowed down, people are out of work and that kind of thing. So for Oklahoma, like I said, I can't speak for the United States, but for right here where I do live, I could see a definite upside, if nothing else, in just the economic part of it. And calling it an industry, I think our state government is so far behind it that they're hampering it. You know what I mean?
here's the thing. I've got 6 states that are watching us right now, watching We Are 788.
Well, I was going to ask, is there another state out there that
They want
has their 812
no.
already? So
I mean,
Oklahoma
we do.
could be the forefront of it.
And that's what we're trying to do, is
And-
set precedent for the rest of the country to see.
We want to be forward thinking. We don't want to follow, but we also don't want to be pushed out either. There's no harm. There's no harm, no foul in passing this and getting it on the ballot. There's absolutely, you're going to help someone that hasn't had the opportunity to get help.
And I guarantee there's thousands of prisoners right now.
Well, I was going to
sitting there
ask
just
you,
like,
how many?
Come on,
Do
girls,
you guys
get it
have
done,
a
get
number
it done.
of people that are incarcerated?
We did a press conference last week.
That
and
if this passes, they would be released.
Correct.
As long as
There's
no
more than
violent crimes
10,000.
crossing state lines.
There's
Right.
more than 10,000 is what I've been told.
More than 10,000.
Yes.
For the research I did, it's closer up into the 20,000 throughout the state. That doesn't even include the people that are like on probation that aren't incarcerated.
That's
but
just marijuana charges.
Just
Yes,
marijuana,
just
and these are
marijuana
not
charges.
charges that involve weapons or cross
Crossing
state lines. No, this
so
was
this,
this was
this
just
won't affect
simple,
anything federal. It's just simply state.
Yeah.
like
in
you
any
said.
amount.
You-
Or is there a...
No, there's no amount, but if you go over a certain amount, you usually have other charges
Right.
attached to it.
Yeah, like trafficking.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
So, and that
that
doesn't
doesn't include... Okay.
But what it does cover is possession of a controlled dangerous substance, being marijuana, possession of a controlled dangerous substance, being marijuana, with the intent to distribute. You're selling to your homeboys and your buddies and stuff. That's generally who gets that pop. Possession of a controlled dangerous substance within 2,000 feet of a school or public park. That's major, because we're not talking about selling in front of that school.
Right.
We're talking about possession. The officer comes up to you and says, "Well, what are you doing here?" How they do, and then they search you down. Say maybe you've had a run-in with them before, and you're within 2,000 feet of the
But
school, and you
2,000
got a
feet is
joint
long,
on you.
Is a big.
Yeah, it's
range.
4/10 of a mile.
Yeah.
So, possession of a controlled dangerous substance, being marijuana, in the presence of a minor. You got your kid with you. You got a joint in your pocket. For whatever reason, you're being searched. And you
But because
get
there's
you
a
get
minor
that
child
charge.
That changes the
Yeah.
whole.
And that's ridiculous. Possession of a controlled dangerous substance, marijuana, without a tax stamp. Can I ask you guys, do you know of anybody that has ever gotten a damn tax stamp for marijuana sales?
No.
Not that I
don't.
know.
I mean, if you were to buy it from somebody off the street, would you ask them if they had a tax stamp?
That's about
Yes. It's a requirement. It's a
Yes.
requirement.
People have been busted without a tax stamp.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of the
That's one of the nice things that they throw on top of everything. So
Wow.
you know,
It's
it
like,
just
oh, you
keeps
didn't have a
adding
tax
on and
stamp to sell
adding
that
on.
illegal drug. So yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
See, I didn't know anything about
Yeah,
that.
I have a lot of people ask about that. They're like, wait, what?
Yeah, and that is it's actually on the books. You have to have a tax stamp to sell drugs illegally in the state.
Right. Okay.
Excellent.
You're
That's
going to
right.
go in
Yeah.
and
Oh,
apply
yeah,
for a
yeah.
tax stamp and give them money. What do you think they're going to do?
Right.
Right.
They ain't going to give you no tax stamp.
They have an ethical, moral obligation to turn you in.
So you don't
And
know
they're not
anybody
gonna
that
do
has a tax stamp?
no.
Okay.
I don't know any.
Well, now I do at the dispensary.
Right. Right.
Well, I have a tax license or something of that effect. Okay, and the final one, and this is something really big. Possession of proceeds derived from a violation of the Uniform Controlled Dangerous Substance Act, those that I just read above. So you were selling them, you got $20, you get your $20 back.
Okay.
Well, you won't get your $20 back, but you'll get that one taken care of and you won't get busted for it again.
See, to me, that
Okay.
these are almost sort of common sense legislation to go along with if they're going to view it as a medical substance. Why? I'm kind of agreeing on a lot of this stuff as far as it just kind of makes sense that that would go along.
Right.
You would-
with
but
if
we
you're gonna
have
view it that
sense.
way.
We're not in the legislature.
That's true. That's
So in essence, this would legalize marijuana.
It would decriminalize
Decriminalize.
marijuana, meaning that, I mean, marijuana medically is already legalized. This would decriminalize actually these particular offenses. Now, there are other offenses, you know, if you've got a weapon, if you've got,
Right.
if you bring it across straight lines, those would not be, those would not be allowed.
And it's not recreational. I mean, you guys aren't talking about recreational.
Well,
that's another.
that's in State Question 813.
Oh, okay.
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 And State Question 813 and 812 kind of go together.
Okay.
It defines what recreational is. We brought it in a very controlled fashion to alleviate and eliminate black market. We watched what all the other states did. We checked it out. We're like, yeah, but that's how they got black market. Well, we as patients our patients can grow their own marijuana for their own medicine.
Up to so many plants.
Up to so many plants. In State Question 813, if we get all this passed, we would have recreational for only Oklahomans and any recreational state that comes, you know, if someone comes from
Texas
Colorado,
or-
not Texas, they're not recreational.
Oh, my bad.
They have to be
They
recreational.
have to be
recreational
recreational.
in
To be able
order
to
for us
buy it.
right.
They would
legally.
have to have an ID from that state, and we would know, everybody knows
So that
who's
way, other
recreational.
states like Texas and Kansas can't come in and buy and then cross state lines
Right.
and hold Oklahoma
Cross the
accountable
state
for it.
line.
Yeah, because
Right.
then we are helping them facilitate a felony
Yeah,
crossing
right.
the state lines
Right.
into
Sure.
a state that's not legal. So we've addressed where medical can come in and from another state with their medical card, they can purchase here. Because currently, if you come from another state, you have to apply for a temporary license. It's $100.
It's a money thing.
It's a money grab.
It's definitely a money grab because, like, if I'm coming here on vacation for 2 weeks, I have my medical card. Well, I'm gonna have to file 2 months in advance to get that, and then it's only good.
Right.
It's $100 to be good for.
But
what,
you
2
only
weeks?
knew a week before that you were
Right.
coming.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, and you can't bring your medicine with you.
Right.
So you're like, what do I do? So basically, right now, you apply for a temporary license. You pay the same amount that someone that's going to get one for 2 years. They only get it for 30 days. To me, that just is. I have patients in Arkansas that apply for theirs every couple months. They come in and they buy the full quantities that they are allowed to have, and then they go home. And that's just wrong. They should be able to come in whenever they want. You know, if they're in a medical state, Arkansas is a medical state, bring your card. You shouldn't have to take and pay Oklahoma. It's ridiculous.
They're spending money in your state anyway. So
Correct.
Why are we
Right.
making?
Correct.
Don't get
So
me
this
started on
is-
that. Don't get me started on that.
The beginning of
Sorry.
end of prohibition. This is, you know, it's just like prohibition. This is the Roaring Twenties. It's
Yeah,
happening all over again.
Right.
That's what I was
mean,
going to say. I know we're sitting here doing this podcast about this issue, and to think that maybe in a, hopefully maybe in 2 or 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, I guess, that the whole entire country will be,
it should
Legal.
be descheduled.
Right.
It should be descheduled,
Descheduled.
decriminalized
Right.
federally. But we can't. I mean, obviously, our federal government is at odds over themselves. They just can't get any work done. I know that our Congress they want to bring it in, and the Senate doesn't. And I don't know who's at fault, but I've been up there. I can tell you who's at fault, but it ain't gonna do any good.
Yeah, she actually goes to Washington.
It just doesn't do any good.
You do? You go to Washington?
I
Okay.
do, and I'm planning. I was going to go in March, but COVID hit,
Yeah.
and actually we were going to go,
Oh.
and COVID hit. I was going to take her up there and show her the ropes.
Show me the ropes.
Oh yeah. Scary,
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Is it legal in Washington, D.C.?
Okay, in Washington, D.C., theirs is really weird. You can go in and purchase something and they'll give you weed with it. But you have to have a physical thing you purchase, a T-shirt, a poster, or something. You cannot buy the actual weed.
You're not
the
actually
weed
buying
is the
weed.
gift.
You're buying a $60 shirt.
Yep, and you get whatever.
The quarter ounce or whatever with
Right.
it.
Yeah, and so to me, that's just...
That's just kind of crazy because if it's legal, semi-legal, whatever, in our nation's capital,
It makes
it's
no
like,
sense.
come on now.
Sure.
It makes no sense.
makes no
They-
sense.
They need to make a decision about
It's
it
like,
all.
oh, you let them do it in your home, your backyard, but what about our backyard? Say,
Well, you know what? We
I
need
don't
to
know.
tweet this to our president, this podcast.
Sure, that works for
Seriously.
me.
I'm dead serious because he has on the record stated that he is considering decriminalizing and
Yeah.
legalizing medical and let the states deal with the recreational. The number of people patients from my dispensary that were on opioids 2 years ago, that are no longer on
Right.
them. And you can see a vast difference. I have veterans with PTSD that come into my dispensary suicidal. At that moment, they are suicidal. And I work with them.
Do they tell you that when they come in?
After talking to me,
Yeah.
they're like,
They're
I'm
looking for something to help.
right.
Correct.
And then they end up telling you.
right,
Hey,
because
last time I was here, I was,
no, they tell me at that time because
Yeah.
I spend time with them. We do education. I can tell. I'm a.
She has a very good sixth sense. There's no doubt. She can call it.
I can tell just
Her guts
They're
all
going
right.
through.
They're going through something.
major.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will sit there. We will do a consultation. I will spend however long I need to spend with them, and we, to make sure that they're not going to go back and do something to end their life. And I make sure that they get something that's going to give them some relief as soon as they leave my dispensary, and. Every one of them come back. They're starting to look healthy. They're doing things.
They're vibrant.
Acting. They're active in their life now.
And you see it firsthand.
We do see
Absolutely.
it firsthand. I had a customer that when he first started coming to us, he's a cancer patient. My son-in-law who works for me had to go downstairs and practically carry him up and just aid in the system because he was so weak and so frail. Now he just comes in and he's just a chipper. How y'all
Yeah.
doing? I mean, it has made a humongous
Sure.
difference. He's
Wow.
like, I mowed the lawn today. I went to the grocery store. I mean, this man was near death. And I think he still has cancer, but just his
quality of
quality
life.
of life is so much better.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not running marathons, but he's doing
That means
things
everything.
things that we take for granted, like
Right.
going to the grocery store and just
Yeah,
driving
definitely.
ourselves somewhere. And
One of my first patients was on oxygen 24/7, COPD and some other health issues, but she was on oxygen 24/7. We got her within, I think it was 9 months of using marijuana. She would steep it and put it in her tea, and she would do different things. She didn't want to smoke. Sometimes she would because it'd be just having the breathing issues. She didn't want to smoke. Her husband was growing her plants for her and everything so that she would have it. But she was one of my patients. 9 months after she first came into us, she walked in. No
Oxygen.
oxygen. Her doctor had taken her off the oxygen fully.
Wow.
I mean, 100%. And she's now going on cruises. She walks, she goes fishing, she's living life. For 5 years, she was attached to that machine. And today, she is not. So I've seen miracles. Absolute miracles.
And with children as well. One of my first touch my heart patients, he was 8, and he was autistic, and he was very violent. His name was Silas, and he would just like come in, just and Mom would just shove a gummy in his mouth, and he's just calm, cool, and collective. And she said prior to that, at nighttime, her 4-year-old daughter, because he was older, she would have to keep her in her bed because he would attack her in the middle of the night. But since taking medical marijuana and eating gummies or edibles or whatever, he's calmed down a lot to where he's manageable. And she doesn't have to worry about him beating the crap out of his little sister because he gets his violent rages.
Wow.
So it's definitely...
I'm sitting here while you guys are saying it, there's things I can relate. People that I know, a lady that her son has epilepsy, and they were treating him in another state before it was legal here, because they had done some research and found that it would help him, and it helped him. So it was like they were celebrating whenever medical marijuana was legalized. They
Right.
were just beside themselves because they could actually be here, where they live, and treat him.
But
with
before
what
it
they
became
needed.
legal, if they had treated their child with marijuana, they would have been subject to
Sure. Oh
to
yeah.
what we're
it was
dealing
very
with.
very private.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
absolutely,
No, for sure.
absolutely.
But isn't it a shame they had to go through that?
Yeah.
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
it
I mean,
really is.
and look at us now. My grandson, who's sitting over there, he's a patient, and I can promise you, he would not be sitting over there now if he was not a patient. Because and it has just been amazing for him. He doesn't have the violent rages anymore, like she was talking about. He is just he's social. This child he wouldn't look at you. He would have no contact with you.
It's giving him confidence for sure.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's just been a major thing. He's been thrown out of multiple schools. He likes to scale the outside of the buildings and go to the roof. I mean, he doesn't have to have a rope or anything. He can climb the sides of the buildings. And while he can still do that, he chooses not to.
Right.
So
It's better than the alternative that these other manufactured pharmaceuticals that they're trying to give these kids that have. If you ever see the commercials, we laugh at them. And side effects.
Sure.
They just
Hundreds
keep going
and
of
hundreds.
side
Yeah, it's like,
effects.
I'm going to pass on that.
if you die, please notify us. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
The side effects may include death
Yeah.
and
They are actually
everything
worse
else.
than the condition itself.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You're like,
exactly.
my big toe don't hurt that bad.
Yeah, no, I can live with that pain.
Yeah.
The side effects of this, maybe you might get a little hungry, a little sleepy, right?
Yeah.
You may need to come to the CrossFit,
Right.
but
Well, that's what you guys were talking about earlier is, and one of the things I thought about the pushback you guys get. A lot of people, I wouldn't say necessarily. I don't know where to draw the line as far as you would say an older generation or something like that. But it's always, well, these are just potheads that are just trying to,
Oh, the
they just
stigma
want to
of
sit
old
around
people.
and smoke.
Oh,
pot
don't
or
let
whatever.
them old people fool you.
Well, you know,
most of my
Yeah.
patients
Don't let
are
'em fool
older.
ya.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Well, that's what I was telling him. I was like, most of those people that are against it are probably doing it anyways.
My dad is
just
74
don't
years
want people
old.
to
Let me
know
tell you
it.
a quick
Right.
story. So I'm in California. California is a legal state. I'm there visiting my dad. And I said, well, I have to go get some smoke, blah, 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 blah. So I got some. And I felt awkward rolling it in front of him because, I'm 53, but still, I was like, eh. So he's looking at me. He's like, you're not even rolling it right. I said, what? I said, oh, okay. He's like, hold on. So he goes in his room and he comes out and he's got his little tray with a little rolling machine and papers. And I'm dumbfounded. Yeah. So he rolls me a pretty little joint. He's like, well, if you needed weed, why didn't you just say so? I have, mason jars full of it. I get it from my friends. I have friends that are farmers. They grow it. I'm like, are you serious? So, but he was always told us, don't you smoke pot, that's a gateway drug, blah, 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 blah. So
we
these
did our parenting.
Right. And those older people are doing their parenting, and that's because that's that generation.
Right. Sure.
So, but now they're starting to come out that,
Yeah.
they're free birds too, and they like to smoke a little.
Yeah.
The state, I think, in a large way, spoke as a whole by legalizing it. even in a medical form. Yeah, I mean,
57%. You know, they see that this is stupid.
Sure.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we had to do this, we the people.
We're just normal people.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not like lawyers or legislators or anything.
I work for attorneys. They did not have anything to do with this. No attorney I know had anything to do with this.
Really?
Right.
No.
We did this because attorneys have a tendency to put the language into legalese, and the legalese is interpretable, where, okay, I got this client, okay, I can use it this way,
Kind of like
and then we got a
loopholes.
client over here, it was totally different, but you know, I can spin that for him too.
Right.
And we didn't want that. We wanted you, me, everybody
Yeah,
to
if
be
you
able
notice,
to
it's
read
kind of like
it.
in plain English. You can read it. There's not no room
You
for
don't have to.
interpretation.
You don't have to have a college degree to understand it. I mean, you really don't need a dictionary to understand it. And so, as being that we are just regular people, and the fact that I know how things happen in court, I'm like, we're going to keep this straight and simple. There's absolutely. I don't want I don't want the courts to play havoc with this.
They do not want simple.
No,
They do not
They,
want
they don't
Yeah,
want us
right,
to
that's
understand
crazy.
it.
That's crazy.
They
Right.
don't want us to if you go back and read House Bill 2612, 3228, and a whole host of
3228 was
others,
horrible.
a whole host of others, you read it, you know, not just read the words, but read it. And you're going to see it one way, and then you're going to talk to somebody that had a hand in writing it and find out, oh, they meant it a whole different way.
Sure.
Right.
But that's not how it reads, but that's how it was meant. Well, how it was meant is what takes precedent, not how it reads. So, but I'm a black and white person, you know, I like reading. I want to be able to understand it. I don't want to have to go find out who wrote it and ask them what they meant.
Right.
It should
It should be
define it.
Yeah, it should be defined clear
Sure.
and simple.
Yeah, the culture of people who are what you would consider plain spoken and with a limited agenda, I guess is basically what I'm saying. I look forward to it, and that's one of the it's that double-edged sword of social media to me is people who do speak normally and do have, you know, what you consider an everyday agenda are able to do what you guys are doing. You know, you're out here being able to speak and be heard.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm shocked at how many people don't know that anybody can write a constitutional amendment or a House bill. It is our constitutional right. It's also your constitutional right not to support it. But stay in your lane.
Sure.
Yeah, but you don't have to be dicks about it.
Right.
Stay in your lane. Let
true.
us see who supports it, and let the state figure it out.
Let the people decide. You know, either way, we know eventually we're going to get this passed, but we're just going to keep going.
Yeah, they're not going to. The naysayer or the handful of, I call them minions,
I
dirty
call them
dozen,
crybabies.
yeah, whatever you want to call them. They're loud, they're obnoxious, but I'm tenacious, so they need to meet me.
Yeah, but that's just it. They're loud, they're obnoxious, and they're all talk.
Right.
No action.
Sure.
And I got nailed for calling them out on that. Well, if you don't like it, why don't you get off TikTok or this or that or do something else? COVID was a perfect time. Everybody's at home. Write something down.
Yeah.
And that's what I say when they come at me. I said, "Well, where's yours? I'd love to read yours. Where's
Sure.
yours?
Yeah, where's yours?
There's being
Anything.
The opposite.
The
Yeah.
opposite. Yeah, the people that are fighting us.
Where's yours? You know, if this isn't
Yeah.
good enough, where's yours? Mm-hmm. You have the opportunity, just as like I did.
Yeah, because when we were writing this, we actually put it out there. Hey, y'all, here where we're at. You can come, help. You got something to say it. But oh no, everybody has their own agenda. No, I think we should meet over here. We should meet. Oh, I can't. It's my wife's birthday. Oh, F you.
Right.
We gave up our Sundays to do this, our time
Yep.
with our families, our grandkids,
True.
our businesses to be here. If you don't want to make that sacrifice, don't come crying when it's all done that you didn't have a part of it.
This document alone,
I get
just on me,
irritated.
just for me.
I knew there was a reason. I knew you guys. There would be a reason for your passion.
Passion,
You know what I mean?
yes.
For you guys to be here today with us,
Yeah.
I mean that speaks a lot about how you feel about it. So
For me personally, I spent over 500 hours on this. Personally.
I was gonna add, that was gonna be my next
Personally.
question.
Oh, she did.
But everybody else spent hundreds of hours as well.
Yeah.
You know, whether
She was writing, and this was, I mean, she's got the brains for all this writing stuff. If I would have wrote it, it had a lot of curse words in it. But, but she did a lot of
So
it.
you basically thought of it.
She did.
Right? And
She did. I'm going to give her all the
But
credit. She doesn't want to take it, but she did.
well, it's not
Yeah.
that. It's probably not that you were not thinking the same exact
Correct.
thing.
No,
Correct.
they
She's
were
better
in
at
on
putting it in words.
I put it into words,
She's
but
like,
we
this is
all
what we need to do.
Yeah,
Right.
but we all gave input,
Yeah.
and she's like, okay, and we all did research. Like when we come to the delivery section or whatever, it's like, okay, I'll see how other states we're all seeing how other states are doing it to make
and
sure
why
that we
it
do
didn't
it
work
best.
there and why it worked good here and
Right.
you know,
Right.
take the good from all. That's what I don't understand, why the legislation we have is so poor, because we got all these other states that are doing it. Pick out what's good from them.
Sure.
One of the other things that's in this is banking. Banking in Oklahoma sucks swamp water.
Now we're talking now we're talking
Talking
about
about
813,
813,
right?
yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about Trump and President Trump, should I say?
President Trump,
is
please.
that the proper President
Are
Trump?
we getting political?
No.
I'm just saying, if you don't like him, it's okay, but you don't have to be disrespectful. This is
Right.
still your country. Love it.
Right.
Sure.
And
I'm
what?
100% with that.
Yeah, I'm 100% with that as well. What I want to say about you brought up President Trump wanted to decriminalize the medical portion, correct?
Correct.
I want to touch base on that a little bit and what that means exactly.
Okay, what that means exactly is the medical, as long as you have a medical card, you know, it would decriminalize any and all. It would deschedule marijuana on the medical side. It would decriminalize it as well because for these here.
You're talking about on a federal
on
level.
a federal
On a federal
level.
level.
Is it on the state level right now?
That's all we can do.
Okay.
That's all we
So
can do.
what
State level.
issues are there
On the federal level,
from the federal level versus the state level?
Okay.
Just in Oklahoma,
in Oklahoma, the federal level, my taxes.
it would be banking. right?
Banking.
would
Banking
be-
is horrible.
Oh, taxes.
I-
We want to know what we have to pay in taxes.
So this would what
We
he
don't
would
get-
do would help with 813.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Okay.
it would help with 813. And, like, just for instance, you said taxes. Like, a normal business, you can deduct your rent, your lights, blah, 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 blah. We can only deduct our cost of goods sold. We can't deduct
We can't deduct anything.
anything.
But it wouldn't really
Nothing.
help the patient per se, or make it easier for them.
Actually,
right?
it would.
It
It would
would
drive
because-
prices down.
Right, because
Okay.
if we're paying less in taxes, then we can lower our prices. But we have to charge
We still
so much
we have
because-
we have a percentage we have to make
And then they would be able to travel across
across
state
state
Exactly.
lines.
because it would
Exactly.
be
Absolutely.
legalized federally.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, Texas would benefit from it. Kansas would benefit from it. All the states that don't have medical currently, they would be able to get it much easier than we did. Because it would be decriminalized as far as the federal goes. It would also be descheduled. Right now, because it's a Schedule 1, if someone comes into my dispensary, which they broke in, and they take that's a federal offense. You steal anything with THC, I don't care how small, how little, it's a federal offense because it's a Schedule 1 narcotic. Now, I'm sorry. To me, that's just ridiculous because this is not a narcotic. It is a naturally grown, there's no synthetics, there's no nothing. We didn't process it. So how do you turn it into a Schedule 1 narcotic? Well, we know how. We all know the history of how this happened. It happened, I think it was because of DuPont. Because paper used to be made out of hemp. And he wanted paper to be made out of trees. And so he lobbied for, and I believe it was DuPont, but don't quote me on that. He lobbied our wonderful federal government, and they criminalized hemp. They criminalized marijuana to prevent, so that he could sell his lumber and make paper and other things out of it.
Right.
Yeah, I figure.
Political.
Yes, it was political.
I always assumed that probably like the mafia and other organized crime would have something to do with it, because they stand to make a huge profit off of it if it stays black market, if it stays
Absolutely.
hard
Cartel,
to get,
they are totally against this being descheduled.
See, that's one of the biggest
And
arguments.
decriminalized.
I wouldn't say I would make it an argument, but it's a point to me that always made a lot of sense, as far as it taking it out of you're taking that seedy criminal element out of it. You're taking away a lot of the power that those people have.
The thuggery.
Sure.
And that's what I call this. A lot. We've got a lot of thugs in the medical program.
Yeah, if we can term it medical, and I'm good with that. But I'm saying if the state, which they did, vote that it's medical, well, then why would it be criminalized? I'm kind of on the same boat. It doesn't make much sense for it to be a Schedule I, yet we can use it for medical purposes.
Right.
It's almost like it doesn't really, on that end of it doesn't make
either
sense.
And here's another thing. Medical, when we go to the pharmacy, and my dispensary is a pharmacy. Make no mistake about it. People are using our dispensaries and our products as medicine. So make no mistake, we own, they may be called dispensaries, but they're actually pharmacies. We're a pharmacy. When you go to Walgreens or CVS or anything like that, and you pick up your prescriptions, you don't pay tax on it. You don't pay any tax whatsoever. Right now, our patients are paying close to 17% tax on their prescriptions, on their medical marijuana products. 813 takes that tax completely to zero. It puts the tax on the recreational side. So if they don't want to get a medical card, for whatever reason, maybe they have conspiracy theories that the government's tracking them. I don't know.
List.
Yeah. The only list is at my dispensary, her dispensary, and OMMA has a list of who the patients are, but they don't know who they shop with and what they buy or any of that, or how much.
Because it's almost like HIPAA. You have to keep it is HIPAA. You have to keep that information
Right.
confidential.
But the tax, would be zero on if you have a medical card, and it'd be 25% if you don't, if you're recreational. And so that would help a lot of people, especially the elderly, the disabled, those that are on fixed incomes, because they're buying their medicine, but they can't get enough to last them all month because the tax is eating up what they've got available.
Their disposable income.
And there's correct me if I'm wrong, because I read something about, they were talking about there's nothing to say, there's not a cap on how much tax that they could actually charge if they want to, like the state of Oklahoma is what I mean by that.
Nope, there's
like
no
they can kind
cap.
of set that at whatever. They could make it astronomical.
Absolutely,
if
they
they
can
wanted to,
increase that.
Well, see, originally at 788 it said 7% tax, but the state decided to make that an excise tax, so that's 7% on top of the tax.
Right.
It's just so vague and so ambiguous,
and because it's not a constitutional amendment, they can change it.
Oh,
They've
they can
already
change it
destroyed 788.
Oh,
people don't understand that what we have now is not 788. It's not the intent or the spirit of 788. 788 was very small
and to the point.
And it was very descriptive, but it was very small. And our state legislature has expanded it to the point that it's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, there's a lot of people in the state that, or not a lot of people, but there's voices that are concerned they don't want recreational here for 813.
But here's my question to anybody before
We want to address this,
before 788 passed. You went to Colorado, you went to California, you went to other states where it was legal recreationally because you couldn't get medical. But you went there, but it was okay for you there in Colorado to go and purchase, but it's not okay for someone from Colorado visiting in Oklahoma that wants to be able to purchase. Recreational was fine when it benefited you, but when it comes to Oklahoma, it's not fine. So the people that don't want medical cards, screw you. That's basically what these people are saying. Everybody has a reason why they don't want a medical card. That's personal reason. It's not. They don't have to share that with us. They've made a decision. They don't want a medical card, but they still want to be able to use marijuana, whether it's to treat a condition or not. Maybe they're afraid their employer's going to find out.
Because there still is a big stigma attached
Sure.
to it, for
And,
sure.
I know we're trying to remove the stigma, but all of these people out there with these loud voices stating, I'm against recreational in the state. Why? It was fine when you did. It was fine when you crossed state lines to go to Colorado before we had medical.
So you're talking to people that were okay with medical, but just not recreational.
Correct.
Correct, but they were okay with recreational when it was when they needed their medicine in Colorado.
Right, because
Or
you don't
California
have
or any
to
other legal
have
state.
a,
Yeah.
a license there to buy.
Right.
Correct. You can go across state lines, but that's what I don't understand.
But they can't even give a clear and concise answer as to why they don't want recreational here. Well, our medical program needs to be fixed. Well, 813 is kind of a fix-it-all. Because it takes 7888 back to pretty much the originality of it, and it allows for adult use all in one.
And
So
it allows the business owners to actually do
have
business.
have a chance to survive.
To do business. That's the whole thing is we knew 788 needed to be fixed, period, because we don't want to lose our medical program. But we also know that State Question 806, 807, and 808 brings recreational in. 806, they withdrew that, so it's now 807 and 808. Those are recreational bills. They were able to start collecting signatures, but for whatever reason, they chose not to at this time. They're going to in the future. Well, why would we let the ACLU and dictate how we bring recreational in? We, the people, we are 788. And again, it's not just Monica and myself. We dealt with hundreds of people that helped compile this bill. So it wasn't like we went into a dark corner and we decided what recreational and what medical was supposed to be. We used 788 as our manifest, as our doctoring. We used also stuff from other states
Right,
where it's
we
working.
used our experiences that we go through as business owners, that we see the troubles with the new legislations that they have written. We're like, okay, they don't even know what they're doing. That doesn't make sense. We're going to fix that. We're going to fix that.
Right.
Because a lot of the legislators and the OMMA, they don't know anything about medical marijuana.
No,
I mean,
they're
don't-
uneducated.
They're very uneducated when it comes to marijuana.
And
They just
in that instance too, it seems like to me, not to cut you off, I don't mean,
you're right.
I want to add what you're saying though, in that the stigma with it is almost like the driving force behind it. And that's what you guys are doing a good job in my mind of giving some actual boots on the ground, if you will, experience to people who are just saying, well, I remember when my mom and dad told me it was bad in the 60s.
Exactly.
Well, that goes back to when I decided to open a dispensary. I went home and told my son, who I've done my one of my sons, my youngest one, that I was going to open a dispensary. And he was standing at the stove, cooking something to eat. And he had his back to me, and I said, I just wanted to let you know I'm going to be opening a dispensary. I swear to God, he was like the exorcist. His head literally spun around. His body didn't move. And he looked at me like, no, you're not. He says, you told me. And I says, it's legal now, dude.
Yeah.
It's legal.
It's a different
You're going
story
to
now.
get your
That's a
card
change.
because I know you smoke it because I've smelled it. But, he's like, you're really going to? I'm like, absolutely I'm going to. Because I just knew that it was going to
It's an
help people.
opportunity to do better for people and to give back to the community at the same time. I mean, you're earning a profit. You have to eat,
Well,
but
yeah.
you're still helping people out
Right.
We hear
and
constantly
educating people. And
in the groups and Facebook, because we have a lot of people in the patients as well as businesses within the industry. We hear the phrase patient over profit. Well, I keep telling my patients, and they agree, I can't stay in business if I don't make a profit.
Right.
What are they mad about dispensaries making money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just mad at the world. Sheesh. It's like I don't because I process my own edibles. I sell them pretty cheap, and and they still ask for discounts. Oh, you don't care about the patients. I need my medicine. But if we have compassion.
Oh,
if
yeah.
there's truly a patient that we see, like I have a cancer patient who's in his late 20s, early 30s, and I sell him his edibles for a penny because I can't give them to him legally. So we do have compassion, but at the same time, we have to make some money to keep there.
We got to pay our staff. We got to pay our overhead.
If you guys want to make $1 million profit every year, why does anybody have an issue with that?
Well, they do, because it's not them.
It's not right, and
Yeah.
they don't want to do it. And they need, if you want to do it, then you have every opportunity to get out there and do the same thing.
And
It's
to
the
be
same-
completely honest, I didn't go into business to starve.
Right.
myself to starve, right?
Exactly. And you want to make money.
Of course.
Absolutely.
I mean, you go in at the convenience store and you buy a bag of chips. What do you think you're doing?
Right.
You're adding to that.
Right.
Frito-Lay's, you know,
Absolutely.
$1
And,
billion profit.
Right.
You
I
know,
mean,
so come on.
don't get me wrong. We have patients that I personally, my son, my staff, we pull out of our own pockets because
I have, yeah. We,
I mean,
think
we
every dispensary has
absolutely
those
pull
ones,
out of
yeah.
our own pockets. As a matter of fact, I did it yesterday. I paid for a woman's entire purchase, and because her card was declined. And I'm like, you need your medicine. I could tell she was just at her end, and I took it out of my own pocket. I says, either bring it back or pay it forward. I don't care. But there's just times that we have to be compassionate, and we do collect. People donate at our dispensary for the Compassionate Care Program. We help cancer patients. We help veterans. We help whoever needs help.
I help whoever needs help.
Yeah, we help whoever needs help, but we have to be discriminating because we can't help everyone.
Right.
And then there's those few that will take advantage of it.
Right.
Yes,
And
Absolutely.
the Bible
Absolutely.
says that we're supposed to help people.
Right.
Right. And I don't turn a blind eye to that. I
Absolutely.
definitely believe in that.
At the end of the day, people are people.
Right.
There's
Right.
good and
There's
bad.
still those
So.
dicks
Right.
that try to take advantage, but
And,
we're not going to change who we are because of some bad decisions that other
Sure.
people make.
Absolutely. And I mean, I will do whatever I can.
And she will.
I've paid for hundreds of people to get their medical licenses.
She has.
Not
We
just the
have.
recommendation, but their state fees out of my personal pocket, not out of my dispensary, out of my pocket. And it's not that I'm just trying to say, I have to make a profit.
Right.
I have
In order to
to.
keep
Right.
helping people, how are you going to, you
Right.
can't keep helping them if you're not
Sure.
earning a profit.
Yeah.
Right.
And the more I make, the more I give back to the community.
So people that are against 813, you hear that from them.
This is some
Oh,
of the
yeah.
level of mentality of these people. That's what we're trying to say. Some of these people,
Everything we're talking about, we've dealt with, we've heard. So
Right.
I mean,
can only imagine. I'm sure.
and it's hard because we're just two women trying to make a difference in this. We didn't do this for glory or fame or for money. We did it because we thought it was in the best interest of the state as a whole. And I guess people think that we're making millions on this or something, and we're
And
gonna
you're
There's-
very passionate about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
You see firsthand how it helps
exactly,
people.
Absolutely.
exactly.
And you're not just, even if you were, but you're not just someone who is sitting at home getting high all the time.
Oh,
You
God,
can
no.
actually,
Yeah, no.
you know what I mean? So you have a firsthand knowledge of how
Right.
it helps people.
Oh,
Not only,
absolutely.
not just yourself, but everyone else too.
Well,
all walks of life.
I can honestly say every penny that our dispensary makes goes back into our dispensary because we've only been open less than 2 years.
It's got to be that way.
and it has to be that way.
Sure.
But I still have to make a profit in order to put it back into the business.
Right.
There's nothing to put back in the business if I don't have
Right.
a profit.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where our school systems has failed people because they don't understand business. They don't understand economics. And so,
Simple economics.
they hear a catchphrase, patient over profits. Oh, I like that. Okay, but that's not realistic.
Right.
I mean, the gas station, you don't expect them to take and give you gas.
Right.
Don't you love it when people come to your shop trying to negotiate? Well, I'll give you 20 for it.
Yeah.
It's like, do you go to Walmart and do that? You know what I mean?
Right.
How does that work out in Colorado for you?
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me how that works out.
Yeah.
But if I have a
Everybody
patient that
wants a
comes
deal.
in
They're
and
going to be
says,
like, get out.
if I have a patient that comes in and says, I only have this much to spend and it's got to last me the entire month, I will move heaven and earth to get them what they need to last them that entire month for that amount. I will move heaven and earth. If I have to take it out of my own pocket,
Yeah.
I will do it. But usually those are the patients that are on disability. Those are the people that are on fixed incomes. You come tooling in a Porsche, and dude, give me the money.
With
Right.
gold chains around your neck and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, and they try.
Have you thought about, and I know you guys like to help, have you thought about maybe if there was a stipulation in there where it may be illegal for a dispensary owner or for someone to try to bargain in a dispensary?
Oh.
Have you thought of that?
No, sometimes it's kind of fun to negotiate.
It
and roll
is.
the dice. You know what I mean?
Here's my thing with being an insurance guy.
I didn't know you were an insurance guy.
Yeah, this is my insurance office. This is
Oh, nice.
I'm an insurance agent. I own my
do
own
you,
agency.
do you, do you
Cannabis?
write cannabis?
Cannabis?
I do. Yes.
Well,
Oh,
dude,
wow.
I need your card.
And I'm glad. I just so happen to do it.
Yeah, now I know why we're here.
No,
No,
not at all.
No, because I don't do anything with insurance. I'm just a regular guy, so I'm here too.
Because I wasn't even
I
even
kidding.
going to
I'm
mention
ki-
it
I'm
honestly
kidding.
because of this reason. I thought, well, they're going to think that I'm just trying to get them in the
No. What?
But I'm not allowed to pay for anybody's insurance. I'm not allowed to pay for his insurance. If he called me and said, "Hey, man, my insurance is lapsing. Can you go ahead and just pay for it, and I'll give you the money this evening?" It's illegal for me to do that. So
wow.
it saves me
Okay.
from having to go through
Negotiate.
that.
we
Like,
will,
oh,
we will
sorry,
consider
legally
that
I
for the
can't.
next bill.
Yes.
If my own in-laws or anyone, it's illegal for me to do it.
Oh, see, now I roll the dice with people. I'm a gambler. So I'll tell them. I'll say, okay, double or nothing.
Right.
You'll pay double and you'll get it for free. And I'm going some.
So I was just thinking of that. I don't know
But
why.
that is
I know
a good
you.
point.
Yeah, I said,
because
well-
then it takes the pressure off you. It's like,
Yes,
oh, legally I can't.
absolutely.
Sorry.
And I
Well, it's
know
just
you
like-
want to help.
It's just like we can't give anything away. We have to charge them a penny,
Right.
And so that I do like that.
It's an absolute
Oh,
good idea. I
shucks.
think you should.
See, I didn't even know about
consider
it. I didn't know anything about that stuff. Like I said, I don't do insurance or anything like that.
We know you work out in the oil.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, and he does.
But see, all these people that cause hate, it's good for something else that I do. We do the Canna Grudge matches, which
Let's
is
talk about that.
okay. Oh my gosh, this is so
you,
much
you
fun.
mentioned that, and I was like,
Yes.
what is that?
It's basically everybody in the industry
Okay,
hates
sure.
somebody. Everybody, they're always talking about this person, that person. So we have a fully legal sanctioned event where they can get in the ring and just slug it out. There's
Really?
a referee, there's judges. Yes, 420 friendly. Oh yeah, and it's amazing. So
Wow.
that's what I was telling you earlier, that I have called a couple women out in the Canna Grudge, but they won't get in the ring and
They
fight
won't.
me. They won't fight me.
That's hilarious. Ben in the past has promoted some MMA fights and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Oh, are you a promoter?
This is crazy, dude. This is like
One time, yes, and I kind of like to think that I would like to do another show at some point.
Okay, well maybe
And he helped me. He helped me.
maybe we could,
Don't.
Yeah,
don't
no,
say
this I
yourself
was in
short.
on.
Yeah, okay, but we could talk
Yeah.
about maybe doing
was in
one
on.
in McAllister, because right now we're doing them in the city, and maybe we can do one here and you can
How well
promote
are they
it.
going? How are
Oh
they,
my gosh, they're insane. The door, I mean, they sell out, and people are like lined up to get in.
I need to.
This is we're doing one again in November, and it's a long story, but anyways, we're doing this one.
Mm-hmm.
But the previous three that they've had, they just keep getting better each time. So this one's just going to be insane off the hook.
that is crazy.
Yeah, and it's because you get in there and you see people fighting on Facebook. You're like, oh, who do I vote for? Oh, who do I vote for? Oh. And I'm in there just like, beat each other down, beat each
Yeah.
other down. I hate you both. You know what I mean? But it's legal mutual combat
Yeah.
with referees, judges, doctors, fully sanctioned. So, it's just people that run their mouths. I call them keyboard warriors, Facebook warriors, because they get on there and they want to talk crap and blah blah blah, go back and forth. Call them out. Fight them in the ring. And it's so funny because you see who, part of my mouth, the true pussies are.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
do people actually come though?
People come. I mean, the line is out the door. We're turning people away. Yeah.
How many fights? There are a lot of fights.
It depends. 8, 10, 12. Just depends
Really?
on how many beefs you have that week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
start
crazy.
instigating, calling them out. And I know I personally called women out. They've called the police on me for making terrorist threats, but it was just a legal call out. Yeah. They did. Yeah, she did. The first Lori, the one I called out. Yeah. Yeah, she called the police that I was making terrorist threats. It's like, oh, it looks to me like she's calling you out in a fully sanctioned fight. But yeah, it's really a good time, and it's just, and you're supposed to settle your beef there, but a lot of times they don't. They fight. They just get in the ring, slug it out. And
This thing about beefs is sometimes they don't ever end.
That is crazy to me. I've never even thought of that before.
oh, it's amazing because you're like, oh, who do you root for? I hate them both. You know what I mean?
So these people show up to fight each other.
Oh, they do.
And there's an actual grudge there.
Oh, there's and that's why it's kind of grudge, because there's an actual grudge there. They talk crap to each other, and if they have the balls, they get in the ring and they slug it out. Hooligan Bean, who's now my podcast partner, the first time he fought in the first one because he got a mouth on him like nobody's business.
He pisses people off.
Oh, he does.
Right.
And I was a judge, and he got knocked out of the ring onto my table, and I just wanted to punch him. I'm like, she wanted in. All that crap you talked to. Should I just back him? So yeah, no, they're actual true grudges, which is why it's so exciting and so fun. Because it's not just somebody trying to up their record for their wins. Well, no, these people truly hate it. They just
You guys try to hold one like once a month, or is there
well,
any kind of schedule?
because of COVID.
Oh, COVID.
Sure.
Yeah, we tried to have one every 3 months, once a quarter.
Okay.
So, but because of
Yeah.
COVID, that shut everything down. And
What's required as far as like for when we eventually kick off? Because like I said, I'm eternally optimistic. So I think that things are gonna get to some semblance of normalcy one of these days.
November 4th.
What as far as like padding or anything like that? They have to have gloves on, or is it just,
yeah, they have the headgear and the gloves, and I mean that's
okay.
it. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
That's it. They just get in
Wow.
there and.
That'd be pretty cool. I mean, I could see where there would be
Yes, this
there
makes
would
it
be a
even better
line
than
out the door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
hype behind it because you're either team this person, team that person, or team both. Let them both just get in there. And it's funny because people that run their mouths are on Facebook, and then they start calling them out. Oh, well, then why don't you fight me? Well, my dad said I can't. It's like you're a grown man, but your dad said you can't fight. It's like, oh my gosh, they come with all the excuses as why they can't fight. It's like, oh, but your little thumbs is all you can fight with, right?
Keyboard warrior.
Keyboard warriors, yeah. So it's hilarious.
So did we didn't really talk much about 813, right?
We'll come back.
Okay.
We can come back.
Yeah, we
for
definitely
that.
come back.
I like this.
I do too.
I really.
I do too.
I think
It's
that
worth
you
the
guys
drive.
are
Okay,
definitely
good.
worth the drive.
I honestly, I mean, it's been very educational for me. I mean, me personally, and I tried to. I wanted to be educated in some things I wanted to ask you guys, you know what I mean? So I'm not just sitting here going, well, okay, I've never thought about this, but blah, blah, blah. But you guys have taught me a lot about at least about the future's in good hands. You guys are you're in the industry you're talking about. I mean, you're not just
about it,
coming up
yeah.
with this stuff. You guys have a background in it.
And it's good that you ask those questions because there's a lot of people, the silent majority, like y'all, that they don't know a lot. And
They really don't know who to talk to.
Right.
Right.
Because not all dispensary owners are created equal.
Well, right, and
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
why
Yeah.
Definitely are the ones that I know.
Right.
That's why I said for our business spotlight, we wanted to go basically, to someone who sees patients every day and that can answer some of these people's questions that don't know. I mean, people have anxiety, and
Oh,
people won't even.
absolutely.
It takes a lot to just pull in a parking lot of somewhere.
Right.
Sometimes. So to go in and be overwhelmed, I went into a dispensary. I haven't been in one in Oklahoma, but I've been to a dispensary in Colorado, and I was a little overwhelmed, and I wasn't even there to buy.
And you was praying nobody from Oklahoma saw your
No,
car.
I didn't care. I did not care. I didn't care at all.
Back when we first became legal, patients would park their car down. They didn't want it to be in front of in case somebody saw. Now they don't care.
Right.
They proudly walk in.
Yeah.
Even ADHD. I did the same thing about whenever I finally went to a doctor about it because it was affecting. I was trying to go to college and I couldn't. There was some things I was struggling with and I was tired of fighting and I knew what it was. But just like you said, it's funny how you'll put. I don't look down on other people for it, but for me, I was just thinking. I don't want somebody to think I don't have control or,
Right.
like that stigma, that
Right.
goes along with
Yep.
a mental thing or whatever you want to say about it. And it took me getting up there and getting educated, trying some medications myself and that kind of thing like that before I realized this is a thing. This is just, it's a thing. So, I want to get it taken care of. Thank goodness there's an availability like you guys are providing for people to get help for issues that they need and those kind of things like that.
And you guys can tell a new patient when they walk through the door, right? Someone who
Oh,
doesn't
absolutely.
know.
Oh, yeah, some-
And so
babies, yeah.
you're just like, hey, let me, what's one of the first questions you ask them?
What are you trying to treat?
Right.
That you
Number
have
one
to
question.
know, because you could be migraines, you could be fibromyalgia, you could be ADHD, PTSD, you could have
Anxiety.
cancer, Crohn's disease. I mean, there's
The list goes on and on.
it's ocular nerve degeneration. We have it all. Chronic pain, though, is the number one.
So you guys know what they basically need for the most part.
Yes.
For
Is
the
there,
most part,
is there a
correct.
time where you have a book or something you go to, or maybe the internet?
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh, yeah, there's
definitely.
one,
let's Google
definitely.
this and let's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather look it up. I mean, I don't want to look like a know-it-all.
Right.
If I don't know it, I'm going to look it up because I'm not going
Right,
to give you bad
absolutely.
information.
Yeah.
I'd rather give you no information
I
than
would
give you bad
much
information.
rather that right there, and that's what I tell
Right.
people when people ask me about insurance. They're like, "Oh, well, what about this?" I'm like, "Okay, well, I've never dealt with that per
Right.
se, but
I'll find out.
I'll find the answer for you."
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, I mean, we even have patients that are dealing with the change
Sure.
of life. And, they have, mood swings. They are having libido problems. There are different strains that can help with those things.
Right.
And women that come in with those things, they make sure there's no men in the dispensary.
They wanna be
They want to
discreet.
be discreet. They want to have a frank conversation. And they usually wait until I'm there because they want to talk to a woman.
Correct. Sure.
Especially an older woman that has gone through that part of life, but who didn't have marijuana at the time. It wasn't legal. The products that we have now are like amazing. When we have suppositories with THC,
Wow.
Okay.
did not know
that
that.
helps people with fibromyalgia,
Right.
chronic pain disease, bowel obstructions, bowel diseases. They
And they bypass the liver so you don't get that funky feeling and it goes straight to your system.
right. There's
yeah,
there's
yeah.
ways to get the THC into your bloodstream, the CBD into your bloodstream, to where it's not being digested. Now you're going to digest most of it, but there are mechanisms, delivery options to get this to where you need immediate relief.
Exactly. And they also use them, the suppositories vaginally. It'll help with cramps and
Yep.
menstrual times.
I mean,
With
there's
mood swings and everything else, all the
See, I didn't
PMS.
know any of this,
women,
and I think women out there
women.
need to know. Right?
yes.
I mean,
Yes.
people need to know.
Yes, they
They
do.
do.
And there's no place really to go and talk to because your doctor's not going to tell you to go to a dispensary.
Correct.
Because then you're taken out of their pockets. I mean, let's be clear. The doctors don't recommend the pharmaceutical type doctors, prescribing doctors, generally do not recommend medical marijuana unless their patient is a cancer patient. Then let's explore other options. But your regular family physician is not going to say, marijuana will help you. They're just not going to.
No.
Because that takes out of their pocket. If you start going to the dispensary and not coming to see them, then they're losing money. And so it is, from all avenues, it's a cash grab one way or the other.
Sure.
So in any of your advertising, let me start that again. So in any of your advertising or Facebook or whatever, do you kind of let people know that it's okay to not know what you're doing when you come into your dispensary so that they can roll up and...
Facebook, we're not allowed to say much on Facebook.
We're grounded from Facebook.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm a Facebook jail queen.
She's a repeat offender.
We got friends that are that way too.
We
Yeah.
know one of those from Colorado. Yeah.
And at one point, we even
We filed suit against them,
Facebook.
but then
Oh, wow.
we needed an attorney. We had an attorney, and then we didn't have an attorney. Then we had an attorney. Then we didn't have, because the attorneys are afraid. Oklahoma attorneys are afraid to go up against Facebook, even though Facebook is going to use Oklahoma attorneys.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and we had a small conversation about Facebook. You know, I've got definitely my own opinions about where that's headed. You know what I mean? That's
I
getting
hope
to be
it's headed to out the door.
Well, that's what we do this with anything else in America. It's like there should be more choices. There are more choices. I mean, Facebook's probably the most famous, obviously, or the most used. But
we need to go back to MySpace.
No,
I agree.
All you had to do was be a friend with Tom. He didn't care what you wrote.
if you're
I love MySpace.
Oklahoma medical marijuana patient,
Oklahoma
Oklahoma Cannamaps has been it's in the almost the final stages, but we're beta testing it right now for them. They have a social media platform that's not going to have any repercussions. They don't want your data. They're not going to mine your data. They don't care what you put on there as long as you aren't harming anybody. They don't care. So I mean, they can post their pictures. They can have conversations, but they can also, we as business owners can post our products on there and put out our sales on
And
there.
our
Whereas on
prices
Facebook,
and-
we can't do shit.
You can't do that on Facebook?
No, man. I mean,
We are
in 10
going against-
10 seconds, I'm in Facebook jail.
Because you posted a picture of marijuana?
Yes,
because
we
I- a
posted
product.
it for sale. Yeah.
I mean, all I have to do is put a picture.
You don't even have to put a price or anything on it?
No.
You can't put a price. You
Oh.
will be in jail.
You won't even make it past the
Wow.
dollar sign. Right? Yeah, blocked.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
I can't say I've got such and such on sale without a picture. I can't even say that. I can't say a strain. I can't say anything.
yeah, see, I think that's coming. I think there's a big change coming from.
But I want every Facebook employee, including Zuckerberg, I want them drug tested.
Oh man,
I bet you that none of them could pass for marijuana.
oh, I bet not either.
But they can censor us.
Yeah, that's the thing. People forget that there's so many people that look at Facebook like it's NBC or
Right.
CBS or something from the old days where like it's public or something like that. This guy's got a company.
Right.
He's offering a thing, and
Yeah.
and
Go to a different one.
I would like to see myself personally. I'd like to see people be weaned off of it. You know what I mean? There's got to be
Absolutely.
other things out there. where
Absolutely.
it's-
Slap book.
Anything. Yeah, I mean, you can anything. Oh my gosh, I had it silenced and it still rang.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You're okay.
Hey, this is
Yeah,
normal.
you hit the jackpot with us because we've got Canna Grudge, we've got Facebook lawsuits, we've got amendments to the Constitution. I mean, we got dispensary owners. What else y'all want?
And we got personality.
Definitely. Well, it's relevant. You know what I mean? That's the thing about it
Yeah.
is, I mean, this is life. This is real life that we're living. That's why I was so interested when it was brought up. I was like, oh man, we got to get a hold of these
and I'm
guys.
glad you guys do. And you asked us the questions and we were able to answer them because so many people just make judgment on this without reading it, without
Sure.
doing their homework. They just listen to Joe Blow over here saying, this sucks. Well, I guess it does.
Well, and that's the thing about.
But you did your homework to make sure so you can make your own decision, and that's absolutely admirable.
Well, and there's plenty of people that'll say, well, you should have had somebody on there that has the opposite opinion, so they could argue. And
not what
my
we're
thing
about,
about that
though.
is it's not a debate.
Yeah.
You know, we're not
it's
here.
not.
This is information. It's not for
I've
to
had
sit here. We
yeah,
got to
proponents
argue.
call me out to debate me on Facebook. I'm like, you want to debate? Come to my office.
Right.
You're actually within walking distance of where I'm at. Why do you have to do it in front of an audience? You got questions? Ask me. You know what I'm
Right.
talking
Get
about? Right.
educated. Yeah.
Yeah,
Find
get
out.
educated. I'm not doing this to be Facebook famous.
Right.
Jeez.
Any questions that we didn't ask that you could think of that you'd like to say?
Yeah, because we're just
Or that
dudes.
you'd like
we're
to
not,
answer?
We're not accomplished
Oh, anything
journalists
that we
or
want,
anything.
anything that we want to
Anything you wanna
throw
add?
out there? Sign. If you don't have a petition in your local dispensary, call them. Have them reach out to us. We'll get it to them.
Yeah, we'll get
Okay.
we'll come to them for their signature, or if they want to gather signatures.
How
we're
many
gonna-
signatures are you looking for? And
we
how
need at least 180,000 signatures
180,000
by October 5th.
October 5th.
That's when we have to turn them in.
Where are you at right now? Do you know?
We
We don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
We've
they're
been-
everywhere. We're
keep
getting them
driving.
out.
We've been
We've
driving.
been dealing with COVID. You know, there's no large gatherings that we can go stand out and collect signatures.
Right.
And, literally, all the financing is coming from her, me, and
Our
another
pockets.
person. It's coming out of our pockets. We are not getting, we have absolutely no benefit in this other than helping other people. this is, yeah, it'll help my son.
812.
812, state question 812, it will help my son, but it'll help so many more people besides my son. Also, I don't know if you're familiar with Senator Connie Johnson, or former Senator Connie Johnson. She's actually endorsed it, state question 812.
Which is good. Oh, we think it's huge. Right.
Yeah.
I have been told that the former mayor or
I was going to ask
mayoral-
if there was other names out there that were
Support. There's other
supportive.
legislators that are supportive.
Yeah, Greg Robinson was had been running for mayor for Tulsa, and he's part of the Black Wall Street, and I believe he's part of the Terrence Crutcher Foundation, and but I've been told that he supports this. I've been told by a reliable source, so I don't hesitate saying that. But
they need to come out publicly though, right?
they do.
They're starting to come out publicly. It's just this whole COVID. It's just
And but because of COVID, we lost a lot of time. We're struggling going door to door, one to one.
Oh yeah, we'll divide and conquer. She's in one part of the state, I'm in the other part,
Right.
and we're walking in dispensaries, hitting them.
You said October 5th, right?
October 5th.
October 5th, and what happens on October 5th?
We have to turn them into the Secretary of State, and then they start the counting process. Once they determine whether we have enough or not enough, then if we have enough, then they will put it on the ballot, but it will not make it to the November ballot. We are going to request, because of COVID, an April ballot.
Okay.
A special ballot. And by then, we're hoping that we will have our ruling from the Oklahoma Supreme Court regarding state question 813, and we can start collecting signatures and get that on the same ballot with this, because they kind of run together.
Currently.
You're not collecting signatures for 813 yet.
Currently, state question 813 is in front of the Oklahoma State Supreme Court because a gentleman by the name of Paul Tay, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
Challenged it.
He wrote a protest against it, and we've argued it in front of the Supreme Court of Oklahoma.
Which is cool, because how many people could say they argued in the
Right.
Supreme
Yeah.
Court, right?
Yeah.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, we got to do that. Another one of our proponents, we got to argue that, and I was very proud of myself because
She should be. She's
I worked
amazing.
hard on
She's
our
a lawyer.
argument.
It's a lawyer in a paralegal's body.
Well, my attorneys are trying to talk me into going to law school, but yeah,
So Paul Tay-
I really have time. But Paul Tay filed this protest challenging the constitutionality of it. We did our homework. We fought it in front of the Supreme Court. We're waiting for them to render their decision as to whether to dismiss his protest and then let us move forward, or if we're going to have to tweak it and refile it.
Huh. But see, now I'm unfamiliar too with the process as far as, can you collect signatures electronically?
No.
They don't allow that?
Not in
Okay.
Oklahoma. Other states allow it. Now, recently there was a state that, and I don't want to say the state name because it's one of two. And anyway, they filed a challenge regarding a bill during the COVID period, and asked that their Secretary of State reduce their numbers to be collected. And their Secretary of State said no. And so they filed a challenge, and the Ninth Circuit or 10th Circuit, I can't remember, and it got ruled that they didn't have to have that many signatures. They cut it from like 160 to 59,000. And I've asked our Secretary of State to lower ours because of the challenges with the social distancing and the COVID and the being under lockdown all this time, and they've denied it. So I'm in the process of drafting a document
Sweet.
to be filed.
Yeah. Well, what drives that? I'm curious where the number came up
There's
with.
a percentage of state voters. That's where
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
the registered state voters, it's a percentage.
All right.
And that is a constitutional requirement.
Requirement.
And so I do know that. I paid attention to civics.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm wishing I had more now that
Yeah.
we're trying to talk about it. I'm
Just
like,
hang out with her, you'll learn a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I just go, oh yeah. Then I Google.
My attorney's on the phone, and he'll put him on mute or on hold, and he'll go, "Hey, Danna," and he'll ask me the
Yeah.
question. And I'm like, "There, my paralegal says."
But one thing you have to understand is she definitely does her due diligence, and we do our homework. We don't just say, hey, let's write something and just
I can tell.
bring it
I
off the
can
top
tell.
of our head. We do research. We talk to people.
We only want the best for Oklahoma.
Exactly.
We want
exactly.
we
Who doesn't
want the
want the best for
best.
Oklahoma? Is this not the greatest state in the nation?
I agree.
I
with
have to
that.
agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, where else can you go?
I've been everywhere.
well,
I have too.
Literally everywhere.
I have almost
And
everywhere.
It's too hot here, yes.
That's my
There
Other
is
than the
no-
weather and the tornadoes.
There is no
the
beach,
allergies,
No.
the
But-
allergies. We deal with that.
and Joe
Yeah.
Exotic.
Yeah. Carol Baskin.
I sold Carol Baskin breath, and I have people just begging for me to bring it back. It's a flower.
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing. It fucked you up.
Well, and she
needed
will.
that.
And she will.
Yes, she
Ask
will.
for Baskin.
Yes, you will.
I had someone come in the other day. They said that I heard that you had some Joe Exotic, and I'm like, no, I don't. I said I had Carol Baskin's breath, and they're like, oh, is that the one that fucks you up? And I'm like, yeah. I said, but I've not heard of Joe Exotic strain. Have you?
I'm
No,
afraid to know.
I had Joe Exotic rolling trays, and every $100 purchase, you'd get a tray. I went through trays like nobody's business for a minute there.
Really?
Yeah, oh, I want that Joe Exotic. Save me that tray. I'm on my way.
Wow.
I mean, you'd be surprised at what turns people on. I mean,
Sure.
I really would.
Robert and I are going to be, my husband and I are going to be Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin for Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a chain on his neck.
I'm
and carry
hearing
him.
Halloween's being canceled. Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hearing Halloween's being canceled.
Well, I'll tell you how
Do
we
you
fix
see
that.
mask right there?
See now that
This
now
guy right here will be wearing that mask on Halloween.
I'll tell you
There you
what.
go.
Whether or not it's canceled.
There you go.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to hold a peaceful protest at our house.
Right.
In our
You come in and
neighborhood.
get-
That's
There
what
you
you
go.
have to do.
Yes, and everybody is encouraged to come in their costume,
idea.
and we will have treats like candy
Yeah.
for everybody.
Well, you
to
gotta
come.
wear a mask.
Yeah, well,
wear a mask, yes.
Absolutely.
You gotta wear a mask.
So
when you
that's
say
just how
so.
we just how we word it, right? If we word it in a way of a peaceful protest,
Social
passing out candy.
distance. Well, you don't even have to social distance in peaceful protests.
that's right.
That's why I
That's-
said
yeah.
it's going to be a protest in our neighborhood specifically, like the whole neighborhood.
Listen, if they try to cancel Halloween, I will be protesting.
See that now you know how I feel whenever they talk about because we both have boys that play football, in school, and he kept talking about I don't look for football season to happen, and I'm like.
Stop saying
And
that.
the way
Don't
you're
even
talking
speak that.
about Halloween is how I feel when people talk about
I feel
canceling
the
football
same way
season. I'm
about
like,
football.
Don't
I feel
say that,
I feel
you
the
know.
same way about football.
Now, as far as the
You know
professional
that.
sports and things, different.
Yeah, that's
but
But his son was in this classroom with another kid that tested positive, and they quarantined his son for 14 days.
yeah,
Luckily, was it luckily? Luckily the first game was canceled.
as lucky as you could get in this situation.
And then the second game was canceled. So luckily he didn't miss any games with his team, but his team missed a whole, couple games
Because
due
of
to
it, yeah.
due to COVID.
See, knock on wood, I had COVID. I was like, that's it. I mean, I didn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't taste anything. I was just, but
Oh,
I mean,
I have
She goes, I had it yesterday.
no.
And-
My,
oh no, you remember when I had it?
Oh,
She
I'm
was in
kidding.
California.
I'm
Come back
kidding.
from California.
I got it in California, obviously, when I came. I got it there, but
You got to stay away from that place.
I know,
as
that's
far
what
as
my parents said.
as far as COVID goes, I've not had it, and I'm one of those that's at risk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 60 years old. I have lupus.
Oh.
I have scoliosis. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I've not had it. And I get tested every week because I'm around people.
Hang on a second now. The test you take, is Down the nose?
I've done both. I
Cheese
do both.
and rice.
The
No
nose.
way. That had to not be good.
No, I had no problem with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, when I've seen some videos online, I'm like, I'm not getting tested.
Well,
for
let's just
COVID.
say I
They
got
also
adjusted
do
to
it
that
down
in the
your
80s.
throat. And the one down your
Stuff up there
throat
doesn't
is
bother me.
not even as invasive as the strep one. But
Yeah.
I've done the blood test. I've done up the nose. I've done the blood test twice, but I get tested every week, and I get tested just so I have a base point if I should get sick of who I've been around.
Right.
Because you got to know who you've been around.
Yeah.
Because it ain't going to help anybody if you don't notify everybody.
Right.
So
you had it, and you said you didn't feel.
I just didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel. It
my,
tastes good. I just wanted to sleep. But my dad's like, "Oh, you're fine. Push through. Get up. Go to work." I'm like,
my mother she's 60. Oh, I don't want to say her age for sure. She'll be mad, but she's in her 60s to say, and that's probably close enough to get me in trouble. And COPD, I was terrified for her to get it.
I have
'cause they had me-
COPD.
Well, they ended up. She had it, and she said the flu's way worse. I mean,
See, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, my 92-year-old grandmother had it.
See, the thing
You know.
is people aren't dying from COVID. They're dying because they got sick from COVID and it exacerbated whatever else was
Sure.
going on in their
Right.
life. I mean, think about it. How many people have died recently? Well, since January from pneumonia? 0. How many people have died from
The flu.
0. How many people have died? Well, I mean, hell, in Tulsa recently, truck hit a car, a motorcycle, killed the guy. His death was listed as COVID.
No, I see. That's just not right.
Yeah.
Nobody is dying from anything,
Anything but
except
COVID.
COVID.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
you
like,
see
can you
on
get sick
Facebook
with anything
anyway.
else? You know what I mean? Even if you have allergies.
Not anymore.
Everybody assumes that you
I
have
mean,
COVID.
My
COVID.
neighbor just passed away from COVID, but it wasn't from COVID. He was diabetic. He had other health issues and stuff. He was older. He had health issues. They were serious health issues.
Right.
But he got COVID, and it exacerbated his other issues. He may have died sooner than had he not gotten it, but he didn't die from COVID. He died, but they listed it as a COVID death. You know, and it, to me, that's giving people false information.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I could. The thing about the mask and in this area anyway, I can't speak. Like I said, I'm here all the time, so I can't speak for everywhere else. But here, we've got like a mask mandate for town. You know, you got to have them if you go into businesses and
City
those
of
kind of things.
McAllister.
Right. And I think it's gonna. You know, it's one of those things. It's affecting people. Small.
Are they enforcing it? Because when I just went over here to get something to eat, I didn't wear it.
Well, it depends on where you're going.
Yeah, I know.
you
Just like
I mean,
yeah.
you may have somebody come to you and go, listen,
mask hold?
because you're not getting a ticket. At first, you were going to get a ticket. Now it's the businesses, and so and I was thinking, all right, so maybe they're protecting the businesses from having to say, you know, you need to wear a mask.
Right.
But that's not it.
And it's not it at all, because now the businesses are the ones getting the mask.
I was
ticket.
asked once by a business here in McAllister. It's not a local business; it was a chain, but still, I was asked, "Hey, could you go back and get your mask, please? We get fined.
You get fined, yeah.
if you don't wear
now
it."
in
Anymore.
Tulsa, they don't fine. And they're starting to lax up because the businesses are tired of saying anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been in Tulsa
Sure.
the last few weekends.
Give me the
so-
$10 fine. I'm good.
Right. Well, here it was like $150 or something like that, wasn't it?
It's $100. $100 fine.
Where's my
yeah.
mask?
So yeah. So what happened the other day was somebody posted, "Oh, so and so from this business here in McAllister come up to me and asked me to put my mask on." Well, I'm not doing business there ever again. You know, and put this big long post, and it's you got to look at it from the business standpoint.
Right. And I
if-
just tell them, that's fine. I have a choice. I'll go somewhere else.
Right.
And I'll come back when I don't have
I'll
to wear a
come back
mask.
when COVID is gone,
Exactly.
or I'll just put my mask on. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And no, I do not want to
Right.
wear a mask
Yeah.
at all. but I'm not going to cause a big scene.
No.
You know, especially a business owner here in McAllister that says, you
Right.
know what, we might
Especially
get
a
fined.
small business owner. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
you get 10 of those, that's, fines. That's $50.
Sure.
That's
It's
going to hurt. Yeah.
It's a gray area. It's making people mad, you know, one way or the other. I mean,
Well-
this city is divided over I'd say divided, I don't know. They're pretty divided over the mask issue. There's people that are diehard, put your
Oh,
mask
yes.
on.
Yeah.
Save our
And-
lives, you selfish.
Those are
the mask holes.
Those are generally the snowflakes.
Well, I
It's weird,
Couldn't agree
you know,
more.
in this, like you said, from just in this area, it's divided.
Yeah,
And now, you know,
it is.
because
especially
of,
on Facebook, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You see people that are no longer friends because
they can fight in the Canada Grudge too.
there you go.
right,
Yeah.
hey, that's a very,
So
very
one
good
guy,
outlet
you
right
know,
there.
one woman is like, "Well, I've lost a lot of friends over COVID." You're like, "Oh, did they die?"
Die.
No, they just want me to wear my mask, or they won't wear their mask, and they think that, you know. I'm like, okay, hang on.
See,
a second.
I
We have
respect your
taken
opinion either way.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel, I don't know. I'm getting political, and I need to
No,
stop.
no, but I do that too. It's like if you want to wear it, that's cool. But I won't judge you. But don't judge me for not
Right,
wearing it.
right.
I have COPD. You put it over my face, I can't breathe worse.
Sure.
I'm having panic attacks because I can't breathe. I'm hitting my inhaler 10 times, which I haven't hit in 2 months. You know what I mean?
Right.
See, to
I'm
me,
not wearing
COVID,
it.
for me, COVID's not even a political thing for me. It is very much maybe all politics are trying to make everybody scared of
I was
it.
going to say it's doing
It's the
exactly what they
election
intended
infection.
to do.
Yeah.
Infection,
You know,
control a virus.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I'm okay with you wearing a mask.
if you
I'm
want to, just leave me alone.
Right, I'm okay with the city of
Right.
McAllister or whatever city or municipality. I'm okay with them saying we're going to leave it up to the businesses, and I'm okay with going into a business and them saying we want you to wear a mask, and I'm okay with saying, you know what, okay,
See ya.
I'll see you later. I'll
Right.
come back later. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, but I'll
you
come back
want
when
people
you're-
wearing your mask in your business. I understand. You know,
It cracks
I
me up when
don't
they tell
want
you to.
to.
Yeah.
I want.
I'm not
I want.
gonna-
I should have that choice. First off, we're not China.
It's China.
You know,
China.
China. It's my favorite
We're
thing.
not
yeah.
China.
Well, a friend of mine bought a mask and it says China on it. It has teeth on Donald Trump's.
you know, China
It's very
does.
funny.
It's hilarious.
China does require all of their, but the thing is our state does not require it. It's the municipalities that are requiring it. Our federal government's not requiring it. But this is a way that they're getting control of us.
I'm just
It's
like I
that
said, I'm
control
okay with
virus.
a business wanting me to wear a mask, and
Right.
I'm okay with coming back when
When I
or
don't
I'm
have
okay
to.
with going and getting my mask and saying okay.
Right. It just
I'm not-
depends on if I can go someplace else to get what I need.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take. I'm not gonna go on Facebook and put you down just because
Right.
you want me to wear a mask.
And you're not going to bash the
I
people in there that
completely
are wearing
understand.
it. Yeah.
We have
'Cause
to
they-
go to a next level before I'm going to bash you.
Well, what you don't right, and what you don't know is maybe their grandparent died from it.
Right.
Right.
I know somebody that's grandparent
Right.
died from it. His wife's uncle has died from it, great uncle or whatever.
In Arizona, yeah.
So I, for sure, if she came in here and was like, "Man, I don't feel safe in here without a mask," I would
That's it.
completely understand.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I get it. Absolutely.
So I'm not.
But for a
It's each his
large,
own.
but here's
but I'm
here's the
not
thing.
scared of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
But-
please don't make me wear a mask.
Here's the thing: Walmart was open for how long before they started requiring masks?
Oh yeah.
They never shut down, did they?
No.
No, I think ours shut down one day. No. And it wasn't because of that.
They just changed the hours.
It was a totally different reason why.
But
they
the
shut
thing
down.
is
Yeah.
Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, all these big box stores,
well, that's
Best
where
Buy,
everybody was going.
everybody.
during
I mean,
quarantine.
but the big box stores that had lobbying money, they were allowed to stay open.
right, they were essential.
However, the mom and pop businesses
we're not.
were not allowed to stay open, and
Yeah.
if they even voiced a
It
concern,
hurt a lot of people. Put a lot of
Absolutely.
people out of business.
It did.
Well,
and it's
it
sad.
did. And, you know, we're fortunate because we were allowed to stay open, but it damaged our businesses.
Isn't that crazy how you guys were
We're
Essential.
essential.
and yeah, you're having to fight for.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't understand.
That's the
It's
thing
like
about
this.
it.
We're all over the place like this.
right.
Well, that's why I think part of it is just like you guys were talking about earlier. these politicians have to legitimize their position. So as long as they can go back and forth with you on this legislation, then it creates their the need for them to be there.
And they make it hard for
so
the
there's
rest
something
to
to argue
understand.
over.
Right.
That's
Right.
That so they can manipulate it at any time
Exactly.
they want to.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what they do in regular House bills and statutes and stuff. It's a temporary fix to a problem. It's not a permanent fix. And that's why we did not want to go that route. We felt that we had to do a permanent fix to prevent them from destroying what little is left of our program.
Well, I feel like with like 788, they were like, you know what, we're going to make you think that one
We're
way.
gonna
Right.
call it legalized, but
And then we're
Well,
going to.
I
we're
think
gonna
what they
totally
what they
flip-flop.
did was they overregulated us to the point expecting us to just go away.
We're like, okay, we'll do it. We won't like it, but we'll
But-
do it.
but
And we're
he-
just making us fight harder and come up with stuff like this. You want to hear the irony of 812 and 813?
Yes.
The person, Paul Tay, that protested 813, he is now our biggest advocate for
812.
Oh, really?
And
That
and
irony just, whatever.
So
He
we didn't
told
we
me-
didn't go over that. You told us about Paul Tay before, but we didn't
Yeah.
tell the good stuff, right?
Paul Tay is definitely he's
So now
gathering
is he a
signatures.
friend?
Paul
Well-
Tay is gathering signatures. I'm not going to say he's a friend. I'm not going to say he's not a friend.
But I have to say that
I give him props.
I give him props and we respect him because everybody that was chopping it up, running their mouth about 813 and 812, he did something about it. He didn't like it, so he protested it. I got to give him some kind of.
Right,
We got to
sure.
give him some
The
kind of
truth
respect
is,
and
it's
props
not
for
that he didn't like 813. He's setting an attorney up to be able to go fight it in front of the Supreme Court of the United States. That's what this particular attorney's, according
Agenda.
to Paul, is to fight to argue the Controlled Substance Act in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. That's what Paul told me himself. So,
see,
whether-
I've always felt like there's an inevitability to this. You know what I'm saying? I think one of these days, however long it takes, people like yourselves, you know, doing what you're doing
To make it happen.
to move this forward. And I know I can only imagine the struggle it is. You guys are giving up your time, your money, like you said, you're doing all these things, trying to turn this into something that's usable. So I think it's a very worthwhile struggle because you guys are. I'm very impressed. I had a feeling I was going to be before we started, but I mean, even as we've been going, it's one of those things that I mean, I feel like it's going to take people like yourselves, you know, because me and Ben, we just talk. You know, I mean, we're just talkers. That's what we do. We talk.
Yeah.
But thank goodness we
You
figured
don't
out a
even
way.
drink coffee.
Well, we,
We do drink coffee.
well, and the beautiful thing is we can give you guys, you know, a voice to help do what you're doing. You know, I mean, I'm
And we appreciate that. We'll take all
Absolutely.
the help positive help we
Well,
can get.
what I said beforehand, you know, taking a neutral approach to things is what we have talked about a little bit for any guest that we have on. Is I think taking a neutral approach more so, or just letting you guys come and tell your side. It to people that are listening that are not for it. It's going to help them listen more.
right.
Well, thank you so much.
You know,
And
because if you don't do that way, if you get on here and you're like, all right, what are we going to, you know, people are going to be like, well, I'm turning this off.
Well,
right.
yeah, having the background you guys have, I mean, even if you're not for this, you have to respect people that are putting their time in. That are, I do, you know.
For
Trying to
something they're
make a
passionate
difference.
about and something
Right.
they believe in.
We didn't write this. You didn't write this on the back of a napkin. You know, I mean, you guys have put in time and effort to figure out what you want to do and how it needs to be done. Yeah. So it's
100%.
respectable. I don't
mean, you're-
care where
you're
you
here in
stand
McAlester,
on it. You
Oklahoma
know?
on Sunday, you know, and you don't
Right.
even live anywhere near here, you know.
Yeah, that's definitely.
It's like you just come across town to be on a podcast.
Even in the description of this, we need to accentuate that you guys have gone out of your way. I mean, you show a passion for what you're doing. So I mean, that's unmistakable.
And being dispensary owners and get to see people walk in day in and day
See it
out.
firsthand. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a difference.
And you know, a lot of dispensary owners are just like us. Now, we are more about education. We are more about the medical side and everything. But and I won't say that all dispensaries are. I mean, they're waiting for recreational to come. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
There's people out there that's all about this, but we want this,
Right.
but we care about our
The
patients
patients at the same time.
Right.
There's a balance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a balance.
Absolutely.
But if ever you want to have somebody on here to debate us, make sure that you get a referee on, because I will probably get mad and fly across the table. We're just like,
I don't really.
they
think
say
that-
something to her, that's it. I'm
and I got her back just as well.
She does,
I may
she
be
does.
60, but I'm still scrappy.
Yeah, right. These kitty cats have claws over here.
Well, moderating is something. I mean, I can't speak for Ben necessarily on this, but I'm not a good moderator. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be good at going, well, now hold on a minute, you stop and let them speak. You know what I mean? I mean, we could have
I
one.
think I would be a great moderator. I think I would
I'll
be.
just go across there and just put my hand over his mouth. I said, shut up.
I was like,
just kidding.
throat punch.
If you approach it, I think just in a nice way.
Right.
And there's we're not going to take jabs at each other. We're going to
Right.
talk about the issue. At hand.
Absolutely. And,
Not
as long as they don't
personally.
come in personal attacks,
Right.
we can have a debate all day long.
Have you done that before?
No, because
the-
the person that wanted to debate me, the one that's down the street from me,
It's the one you want to fight.
it's a him, but I'll fight him. I want to fight him. You know what? I do want to fight him. I know that he'll kick my ass because he's a guy, but I just one punch to the mouth and I'm good. I'm satisfied. Beat me up. I don't care.
Girl, I
don't
gotta
care.
teach it straight to the throat.
Yeah. Throat punch, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. That throat punch is going to get you. Yeah.
But he
Well, maybe once we put this out, maybe
he
once
fights dirty.
Oh,
He
yeah.
fights dirty because him and I had some private conversations about this. I didn't say anything bad about anything, but he started screenshotting our conversations and posting them. I'm like, man, that's dirty.
Yeah.
That was, we talk to each other in confidence.
yeah,
and
right.
I'm like,
I
you're a
mean,
low down,
if
dirty
we're not
rat.
talking
Yeah.
out on Facebook, on the social
Yeah.
media platform, don't take my words off
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you're
so-
consensually doing that on Facebook, then I can, okay, it's
Yeah.
out there for
But
everybody.
these
but-
were text
yeah, like-
messages
Yeah, I don't
between us
appreciate
because,
that.
I'm like,
That's
man,
bad.
you ain't
Yeah.
gangster.
Right.
You don't want to be.
Most gangsta in
Well, I
the
think once
industry.
we put this,
Tell you know where I'm from. She called me gangster.
Stockton,
Where am I?
California.
All right then.
Yes. I know all about Stockton. I've been there.
Is
I've
it
been
close to Compton?
It's moderately
no.
close.
No,
right?
we're 300 miles away. It's the Compton of Northern California.
Yeah, I worked over there. Not in the it was kind of my dad's was a welder before he retired. And I went out there and worked with him, so I've been in that area. So there in Tracy, California, we
Right
worked
on.
over there.
Yeah,
so.
man.
Cowtown. That's
Yeah,
in
we-
between San Francisco and Stockton.
Yeah, it's I liked it out there. I didn't like it in the cities, and
Tracy's more country, so it's
Yeah.
probably fitted better.
Stockton's kind of away from it's kind of away from other. What I learned about California when I went out there is
It's hell on earth.
You're in one city, and then all of a sudden you're in another city, and you're in another city, and then you're in another city. You're
Same
in.
thing with Oklahoma, like Oklahoma City.
You got to drive a long ways before you get to
You
the
jerk-
next city.
no, you don't.
In
You
the
just
metro-
you're
like
going
in the
through
metro
more
area.
cities that you don't know about.
That's true. That's true.
They just don't
But
put
like,
up signs.
You're in Oakland, and then you're in Alameda, and then you're in San Francisco. It's like, or you're in Fremont, or you're in.
Oh, that's the Bay Area, which is kind of like the
Yeah.
metro area.
Because if you go to Tulsa, then you got Jinx, you got Glenpool, you got Berry Hill, you got Broken Arrow, you got
That's true.
Owasso.
That's
You
true.
know,
Yeah, but you don't know about those cities.
that's what I'm
When
saying.
you go to California, you know about LA, you know about Calabasas, you know about Hollywood, you know about
Right.
Bel Air.
Bel Air,
Beverly
you know
Hills.
about Compton,
The only reason I know about Compton is there's a cheerleading movie.
Oh,
Bring it on.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Speaking of
yeah.
Compton,
Yeah.
maybe you could tell your listeners just to say a little prayer for those two cops that were ambushed in Compton last night and got shot and are
Absolutely.
surviving. Or
They
or-
don't know if they're going to survive.
No, and they don't. And there was
One of them's a female
fucking
with a mother.
protesters at the hospital saying, "We hope they die. We hope." That is just
They tried to
cowardly
barricade the
Comptons.
door and burn the hospital down. They tried to start a fire to burn the
But we
hospital
just need to
down.
say a prayer.
Good
I'm
grief.
all about prayer. Tell your listeners,
Sure.
just keep them in your prayers. that they live, and that just
I did
people
read the
just don't
headline.
be
I didn't
peaceful.
read about it though. I did
That's
read
the first
headline
time, and I
this
usually
morning.
don't read about stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
don't know, something brought me to that one.
I'm a Fox News whore.
Well,
I'm a no news. If
I'm
I
a
can
no
help
news.
it.
I'm
man.
definitely a no news guy.
I'm a no news.
I see. I'm a no news.
I
guy.
know
That's
about
what
all the
I know.
news.
Well, these guys that have got these deputies, right? They were deputies.
Yep.
Sitting in their car, a female and a male.
Yeah, and it said possible ambush or something.
It was an ambush. They were
Obviously it
sitting
was an
ducks.
ambush.
The female
They came
has
up
a
and-
6-year-old daughter.
Man.
And I normally don't like to talk about that kind of stuff because I only
Right.
try to bring positivity.
Right.
But
Well,
sometimes something just,
There's nothing
Sure.
positive about that.
right?
No.
No, for sure. I don't watch the news. My husband watches it, and that's why I want to strangle him because I'm in my room and he's come. Oh, this. I'm like, I'm not watching it for a reason, and he gives me a play by play by play by play.
Well,
So-
maybe once we drop the podcast, you guys share it and all
We
that.
will.
Maybe somebody out there will want to debate, and they'll want to come back on and debate. Do we want to do that?
I'll say
we'll pick
quietly,
who we debate.
I'm a people pleaser, so I'm real bad about. I don't want to cut anybody off or anything, so I might just sit there and listen.
There's
you know,
3
but-
that would be an absolute no.
Yeah, that we won't. The hell
3
no.
people?
Yeah.
Because
and
it'll
I
be
can
a-
give you
it'll be a
their
county
names
grudge.
after.
Well, I'm not necessarily wanting to do a debate. I'm just asking, would that be a good idea?
Well, I mean, of course it'd be if you guys are interested in doing something. I mean,
We will come back anytime you want us to come back.
Okay.
well, who knows?
Just say that if anybody wants to debate us, just check with us because it might be county grudge material instead of debate material.
Oh, we would definitely want to clear anything, you know.
And invite them to the Can of Grudge match.
I am. I'm gonna.
Well, we may
send-
have one here in McAllister now. I put on a
Are
show.
you putting it on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I put
Yeah.
on a show here in McAllister, and it got canceled on the day of because I had fighters that didn't show up. And what happened was I hired one matchmaker, and it was the wrong matchmaker. The other one, I was told, they were like,
He
"Oh,
didn't
he's the
make
main."
his match.
They were like, "He's the
Oh.
main one. He's the main one, but he's starting to do stuff in Louisiana now. He's really not worried about Oklahoma anymore."
See, we can
so
get,
I
like-
hired the other one.
Oh no.
And it pissed the other one off. And he was like, no. So he contacted all of his fighters and was like, no, you ain't fighting in McAllister. You're going to fight for me, blah, 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 blah. So he ruined my show.
Who was it?
Well,
This wasn't cannabis related.
No, I know, but I know some of the promoters because we've had issues with some of the promoters where I'm personally.
no, it's not a promoter. It's
Oh.
a matchmaker.
Oh, matchmaker. Okay.
Yeah, I left all the matchmaking up to the matchmakers. And so, he came down and the state was here and all that. And we had the weigh-ins at
Yeah.
the Choctaw Casino, and they were canceled on the day of. So it was one of the worst times of my
was it
life.
boxing
Well,
or MMA?
It was MMA.
So it's time for redemption.
Right. Well,
And I can get
he's
you
older.
fighters.
He's older than me. Oh yeah, I would.
I wonder-
Well, we did put on another
I
show.
wonder if he'd fight you.
No, he don't want to fight.
I'll
me,
pay
I
money for
promise.
that. I'll pay money.
He
If
does
you
not-
hear this,
we
sir,
can have
I will
some-
pay money.
Oh, we can make this big. We can have some MMA fights, professional or
Yeah.
whatever that you're
Right.
doing, and then we can have our Can of Grudge matches
Right.
after that.
Yeah.
Because I've got a string list of people from the Nate Academy dojo in Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
I met a bunch of fighters there that are willing to come out here and fight.
Wow.
Wow. Well, I had a guy. Can't think of his dang name, but he's a big guy out in the New Albuquerque. What was his freaking name? Greg.
I don't remember now, man.
He's the guy. He's the guy that he's John Jones. He was Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I remember you being excited about being
He
in
texted
contact
me
with him.
out
Yeah.
of nowhere and was like, "Hey, this is blah 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 blah," and I was like, "Whatever." And he goes, "I heard you're putting on a show. I can send a couple fighters out to just hang out, do signings or whatever." And I was like,
Oh, hey, we
"This
make,
is a joke."
See?
This
We
dude
can make
never
it
texts
happen.
me. I can't
See?
think of his name right now. I don't
We
know
have
why,
friends
'cause I-
that would pull
Greg
something
Jackson.
like that,
Greg
though.
Jackson
Yeah.
is his
Don't you
name.
think that the God and universe puts people in place for a reason? There's a reason that
Hey,
we've connected
It's
because
very strange. There's been
My
a couple
wife-
of things here that's been.
My wife would probably strangle me if I came home and said, "Hey, we're gonna probably put on some fights." 'Cause
But she wouldn't be
knew the
surprised.
stress. No, she wouldn't be surprised. She knew the stress that I went through with that last show.
You just had the
because-
wrong person.
Well, I did, and I actually had him. He was my matchmaker for the next one. Without telling me exactly what he did, he kind of let me know. I'm the control. I'm the matchmaker. I'm the guy you should come to. But I told him, I was like, dude, I didn't know about you. Maybe you thought that I was disrespecting you by not talking to you. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Say, I had an
one single-
idea.
Yeah, I had an idea, exactly. And so I talked to the state told me this guy, and I should have went with the other guy. But we went ahead and had a show, and it almost got canceled. It almost got canceled on the day of because fighters were not showing up. So fighters were getting pulled over. They had warrants. They were going to jail.
Sounds like the
was
last
like,
category.
I was like,
It
are you
sounds
kidding me?
like
You know,
our
what
industry.
kind of luck do I got? That's when I started realizing I had just bad luck, you know. And just, but
Well, it
Don't
takes
even
quite a
speak that
bit.
negativity.
That's the thing about. I had no idea. You know, I was just trying to help Ben organize some of the stuff.
he
so
knew
that's-
as much as I did, though.
But
you know what I mean?
I-
He had
Yeah,
no
but the
idea.
next one will get better. You learn
Right.
as you go.
Right.
We got
And
a
that was the
real
plan.
education
Yeah.
out
That
of
was
that
the
deal.
plan. Yes, gosh, yes. we
Educated
did.
out of that
You
one.
know,
Yes.
the kind you don't forget, obviously. You
Right.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
the
yeah.
the
I-
first category match. There was one girl fight, and one of the girls backed out. So they just pulled another girl. Everybody, yeah,
And
you
so
want
they
to
wouldn't
fight?
let us do that at first because we had the same, the same weight class and everything, and they would not let us pull this one. And
yeah, it's a
and-
boxing
what is
commission or
that?
something like
yeah,
that,
the
wasn't
athletic
it?
commission, boxing commission, same people
Yeah.
that you have to deal with. They were like,
Oh,
no,
well, they let us on the
we
first
have to,
one.
We have to know ahead of time who's fighting who, and if that person don't show up, then that other guy don't get to fight. Now the second one, the matchmaker was there, the one, and so he talked and made it happen. He was like, so this guy didn't show up, but this guy, one of my fighters was sitting at my weigh-ins.
Yeah.
He was sitting at my weigh-ins.
Oh shit!
And wouldn't fight.
What?
'Cause
Yeah,
that
he showed up because his brother was fighting too. They were both fighting, and he was supposed to fight. He was on my card, and he was just like, no, I'm not fighting.
Well, he's looking down the road at this matchmaker getting him more fights, and he's probably that guy said, "Don't fight in this guy's fight." He's pissed me off or something like that.
No, I don't think it was that. I think he did not want to. He was supposed to fight my brother, and he did not want to fight him.
Oh well.
Oh,
Oh, you
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
say that.
That's right. I
He did
forgot
not wanna
about
fight
that.
him.
That's right. That's right.
He
I
did not
remember
want to
that
fight
now.
him because I was like, dude, this guy. I'd seen him fight before, right? And then when I saw the matchmaker had sent me the card, and he had that guy's name on there because I'd seen him fight here in McAllister. I saw him on the card, and I saw he was versus my brother. I thought it was a joke. I thought, no way, because I mean,
I know both of them, and there's
I know
this
both
would
of
not be
them,
good.
and this is not going to be good for this kid. This guy, he's not going to.
Well, I might
make
be
it.
reaching out to you for some recommendations if we feel like we're a few fights short or something.
Yeah, I
just say
still
somebody-
have my page up and stuff, and I still have people every once in a while message me and be like, "Hey, man, you ever going to put fights back on?" I mean, this was a long time ago. Long time ago.
Yeah, I just saw the deal on Facebook the other day by accident, and
Yeah.
I thought, man, we haven't done anything
Good
with that in
times,
forever.
man. It
Yeah,
was a good time. It was very stressful, but anyways.
I enjoy the fights like that. I mean,
Oh yeah, they're always fun. They're always fun.
I know. Don't judge me.
So
I have no judgment.
we're gonna let you guys. I know
It
you
was
got a
great
long
to
drive.
meet you, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for
We are
having us.
788.
We are 788, and we are 788 is
Roll was
not
covering that
Monica,
one.
myself, and the proponents and the people that we are 788 is the 57%
7%.
that voted,
Mm-hmm.
except for 788.
All of us.
For all of the patients that we currently have, because we have over 300,000 medical marijuana patients in the state now. It's for all the business owners that are now having their own businesses in medical marijuana. It is everyone in this state is we are 788
So 300,000 people
right
are
now,
patients.
over
Yes.
300.
Wow.
I think Oklahoma has the highest number of medical patients per capita than any other state in the union.
wow, man, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, I'm glad we got that out.
Because there's people, oh, who are you? You're not 788. I'm like, oh. I'm telling you, there are professional effing
Whiners.
crybabies out there.
Yeah.
Whiners, complainers.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's like on our
For
every
sure.
podcast we do, we always have
Yes, a
everybody plug something at the end. I mean, you guys are plugging something, but is there anything,
anything
else
else you
you
wanna
want to
plug?
plug?
Oh, no, we plugged our businesses already, so yeah, we're good.
Anything, nothing else? You want to plug your business again? Then
The Greens Bakery, 644 Southwestern Ave, Oklahoma City.
are you an auctioneer?
Yield Apothecary Shop at 5874 South Mingo Road in Tulsa. Come in. We give great discounts. We've got great product, and we are absolutely patient oriented.
100%. It's all about the patient.
Same, huh?
Yep.
Oh,
So-
definitely.
Okay.
Oh, definitely.
You got to make them comfortable, right? You got to
Absolutely.
make them feel comfortable.
That's why
when
her
they
and I
come in.
vibe so good, because we have a lot of the same
My
values and stuff.
my grandpa died of cancer, and
RSO would have been amazing
my
for him.
uncle was like, "Listen, Dad, I can get you some." This is when it was illegal. He was like, "Dad, I can get you some." I mean, he saw that he was suffering,
right.
And he's like, "No, I don't want to be labeled a pothead. I don't want to be seen as a pothead or whatever." In fact, first of all, my uncle was like, "First of all, no one's gonna know,
Right.
and second of all, you're in freaking pain." And so that to me, 'cause I used to.
It's personal.
Not really
It
be
hits home.
against it, but yes, when you see your own family members dying,
You're gonna give them
and they
anything
could
to make them-
benefit
yeah,
from
for
it,
sure.
Right. It could give them a little
it
bit more
starts to
quality of
change
life.
your mind.
Absolutely.
It starts to change your mind about things, So that's my own personal experience with it, I guess.
Well, I know several people in my own life that things have changed for them dramatically just with the passage of medical marijuana. They benefit from its use. So there again, it's kind of a personal thing on that level. Some people I know, some people I'm not as close to, but there's some people I'm pretty close to, and not to say that all intentions are good whenever it comes to marijuana or whatever. But I mean, I know people personally that benefit from it. So
Everybody knows somebody.
sure.
Oh, definitely.
Everybody.
Right.
Whether they are a medical patient or they are self-medicating outside of the program, everybody knows somebody. Because, I mean, we have a lot of people with mental health issues, and they self-medicate just to get through the day. I mean, literally, just to get through the day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree. I'm sitting here trying to think.
What do you want to plug?
Should I? Is it? No, I won't do that.
Do it.
I was thinking about. Well, I've started a little side.
Oh no, we're not doing any self promotion on here. Mm-mm.
Man, what are you going to plug? I know what you're going to plug. Same thing you always do.
He's already plugged his insurance
That's
agency.
that's exactly what he'll do.
The insurance agency
Is a
sponsors.
sponsor.
Oh.
So it gets its own plug,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah, but see, right now I only know of maybe a couple of cannabis insurance people, so we need to know
Yeah,
who you are so we can put the word out.
Yeah,
because-
Thank you.
especially me, because I set up businesses all day, every day.
And as a
and people
paralegal,
ask
she does
me,
I love you. Did I tell you that already?
no. People ask me where can they go to get insurance.
Right.
I personally, because of COVID, I had to let my insurance lapse
Okay.
because it was either that or not pay rent.
Or go under,
You
yeah.
know, I
Right.
mean, I had to. So I'm looking for insurance. So I definitely need your information.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I have lots of businesses that ask me.
Yeah, working for a cannabis attorney, she has lots of businesses, like she said. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
right
awesome.
I mean, I would.
Kind of goes back to what I
The
said
ethics.
I had my insurance guy. I told him if he wanted me to give referrals, he had to buy me a cheesecake each time.
Oh yeah.
Referral.
Well, you can do that.
I had a freezer full of cheesecakes.
Are you serious? You still have them?
There might even still be one in there.
He would really buy you a cheesecake?
Yes. It was like, oh
Dude,
no.
I'm a sucker for cheesecake.
Because I would call
I
him.
love cheesecake. It'd be hard for me to buy somebody else a cheesecake. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I would call him like, no, fucker, I got you this business. Where's my cheesecake? I want my cheesecake.
Hey,
Yeah.
I can do cheesecakes. It can't be over a certain amount, but I can do cheesecakes.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I think I can anyways. I'm gonna have to look into that, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If it's legal, I'll provide a cheesecake.
Say if it's legal, moral, and ethical.
Right. Yeah.
I got you all day long.
Yeah.
He gave me a Cheesecake Factory gift card one time, so that was but I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Did you
easier that
re-gift
way.
it?
My mom does that, so I should have given it to her.
I re-gift stuff all
Yeah,
the
you
time.
My
Yeah.
mom does, but oh my
You play
gosh.
Dirty Santa at Christmas, man, and that's.
But she doesn't think when she does it because she regifted a gift card to Olive Garden to us, and on the back it says to Sandy and Bob from my mother. You could have at least took it out of there.
Well, she just didn't want to.
Hey.
She probably didn't like Olive Garden, or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
but this is the same one with the inside the card. It says "Merry Christmas, my niece," and she crosses out niece or whites it out, and then puts a Sharpie, puts daughter. I'm like, oh,
That's perfect.
That sounds like something I would do.
That sounds like something I would do. It's kind of like rapping, at Christmas time. My rap job is
Bags.
terrible.
bags,
Yeah.
gift bags,
Bags.
Yes.
Bags.
Well, I want to show that I did put. Some
I don't
kind of
even
effort
care
into it,
it.
but it doesn't look like I put any effort into it.
Aw.
It looks
Once you
bad.
get to be my age and her
Bags.
age, we don't care.
Yeah.
We really
Well,
don't
You got
care.
a gift, didn't you? That shows I care.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
thought that counts.
There's
Yeah.
the
I
care.
didn't have it shipped to your house. I bought
Yeah.
the bag myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got it.
All right. So what do you want to plug? Go ahead. Have you come up with a name for it yet?
Yes.
Oh,
you
I
have.
started a really, and it's
You
not.
told me the name already.
Yeah, I started another. It's a very small podcast, and it's not anything to do with I don't drink coffee, other than it's not in competition with. It is. I'm doing some stuff that's going to be
There is no
that
competition.
wouldn't fit here.
That's right.
Well, I talked so much that I think that I've got another set of comments that I can make in a small, out of the way podcast that I'm starting. And it, like I said, this is the main gig. This is the thing that I enjoy the most, and everything else. But some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is just
He
stuff
likes
that-
to go on tangents.
Yeah,
really?
I ran a little bit,
I love rants.
Well, and that's what
So,
in the spirit of trying to keep everything neutral or whatever we say on this thing, then this is going to be kind of whatever I want to talk about, I guess.
What's it called?
It's called Life on Earth, and it's just a podcast that I'm doing. I'm in the process of making the first episode, so it's
There you
very
go.
new.
There you go, because that's good. You should trademark that, because I was watching Ancient Aliens last night, and they are starting 2023. They're going to be sending people to Mars.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I'm
Life
excited
on
about
Mars,
it too.
Life on Earth.
See,
You
that
going?
those are things I'm going to be talking
But that's
about.
a one-way ticket.
Going to Mars, bro?
But see, those are things I'd like to talk about. Though, is like I'll get on technology tangents on here sometimes, and I'm like, I don't really have a, it doesn't go with what we're doing.
Yeah, but
So-
how those work is you have somebody else on that knows more about it than you do.
Well, it's just like when I like to talk
Like
about
we did
weird
today.
stuff, like, well, yeah, but I mean, we can't ever like. If I want to talk about quantum physics, we don't know anybody that's a physicist.
Sheldon
you know?
Cooper.
There's.
Bazinga!
I've thought about contacting a lot of different people. It's
Are you
we're
into
we're
quantum
working
physics?
on it.
So you're gonna have guests on your show? Is that what
I don't know. I told you, it was just because I saw it was available, and I thought I'll just do this little side project.
So you're saying it's okay for me to have my own little
If you
thing
wanted to.
side with other people?
It's never going to be
You're
this.
gonna be okay with that?
Neither one of ours is ever going to be what this is. So it's like having
know,
a side
man.
band. It's
So
like
you're
musicians.
gonna be like cheating.
That's what he said.
No, that's
yesterday.
what I told him
He called
about
me
it.
and he goes, "I just want you to think I was cheating on you."
Yeah,
I'm
The
like,
outsider looking in, looks
That's-
a little suspect.
that's what I told you.
No,
Well-
he's being transparent and upfront. So
that's what
Well, we would. I don't know. We should probably talk about the rest of the stuff we were talking about, right?
Well, I mean, for me, it's just like these. Stone Temple.
plans.
I've got a Stone Temple Pilots shirt on right now for anybody that might be listening and not seeing this. And okay, the lead singer of that band had other bands that he played
Yeah,
music
and where
with.
is that lead singer at?
Well, he's dead, but
okay. All right.
but it was
Yeah,
because he had
him.
things that didn't go with the
My
primary
point.
band.
The
or
agenda.
whatever,
My point.
so.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to have to call
Yeah.
it because
Yes.
people are
We're
waiting
out.
to sign.
This episode is
Heck
brought
yeah.
to you by Blackline Insurance Group. Visit blacklineinsuranceGroup.com.
Thank you so much. We are
Yes.
788.
We are
Thank you
788.
thank
guys.
you, gentlemen, for having us.
It's been awesome.